if I'm coming through here. Could be. Give me just a second, everyone. Hope you guys are able to connect. Hope the audio is fine. If I'm coming through here. Give me just a second. I'm getting things to speed that. Couldn't be give me just a second. I'm getting things to speed that. All right. Am I coming through? All right. Am I coming through? I feel like there's something wrong with the audio. All right. Am I coming through? I feel like there's something wrong with the audio. All right. Am I coming through? I feel like there's something wrong with the audio. All right. Am I coming through? I think I think I'm broadcasting now. And can you guys hear me? I was having trouble with the audio. We're off to a wonderful start with that. All right, good. Wow, there's a giant delay there. I am not being very instant with my replies. Okay, I'm gonna just. Okay, good. You can hear me. That's the main thing. Yay! So live stream today, and I picked it because it is TDM's official anniversary. So yes, that's good. That is or Invader Zim's anniversary. What am I thinking? Invader Zim's anniversary. Yeah. Hang on, I have someone saying they can't hear anything in the comments. Hang on just a second. Something. If you can't hear me, go ahead and unmute your audio. You can unmute your YouTube video. Oh, you wouldn't hear it if I said that. Hang on, I'll type. I'm typing out a response. Okay, so yes, that is great. Let me see. What are we going to talk about today? I'm waiting around for people to filter in here. Get a few more, maybe like handful of more minutes. That's not a unit of time. A few more minutes, just a little bit, and then after that we can get right away started. And the reason you can't see anything for now is I'm getting my I'm getting stuff pulled up and set up real quick. It won't take very long at all. How are you guys doing? How's your day been? How have you been going? How's it been going today? Awesome. Good. You can hear me. That's good. And there is going to be a slight lag between me reading your stuff and answering it. I do apologize. There is going to be a lag. That's just inevitable. Yeah. Sorry to hear it's bad, but now we have a live stream. So yeah, school later than usual. That's all right. Someone asked what this is all about. It's because I'm making a fan film for Invader Zim, and I wanted to do a live stream just for fun. And since today is the anniversary of Invader Zim's release, I went ahead and chose this as a date. So yes, that is quite why we're doing this today. And welcome to the live stream, everyone. I am currently getting things set up to show you on the desktop, and we can get started. But right now, I'm just setting up a few minor things. I had to crank for time. Let's see here. Aha, that'll fix that. All right, that takes care of that. See, you guys have no clue what I'm talking about right now because I am talking out loud to myself to pass the time and not have a giant gap of dead silence in the middle of everything. Oh boy, let me open up. Let me see some concept art. Let me see if I can open up some concept art to show you guys once this thing starts rolling around. Concept art I'm actually currently working on. That would be kind of fun. Let me see here. Concept art. Yeah, let me see here. Yeah, I have a lot of this, and they're all mislabeled, funny enough, because because I'm terrible at that. How's this? Yeah, this looks good. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and get this started. Let me display my desktop here. All right. Wait, let me open that again and move it to the side. All right. So here we are. Hi. Probably going to come in kind of low quality. I can't do anything about that. That is just bad internet connection, and I am terrible at techie stuff. So hello, everyone. Stanley Orr here, person in charge of TDM. We are doing this live stream just because we can, and that's basically all the reason I needed. And that and Zim's anniversary, as I mentioned earlier. So I think, yeah, this is great. This will be fun. Itinerary for today is I plan on going ahead and what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking? I'm going to answer questions a little bit. Going to do a few Twitter questions, chat questions, stuff like that, and also do behind the scenes stuff. I don't really have a very tight schedule, so yeah, that's the plan for right now. Okay, so I guess we should just get started. Anyone have any questions in the chat? I'll go ahead and start. There's going to be a little bit of a lag because going to be a bit of a lag. That's all there is to it. Am I overworked sometimes? Yes. I have a lot of stuff this goes into. That answers that. What if Nickelodeon began to fund this movie and offered to air it? I would not. I would not do that. It's first of all, I see it as an ability. Second of all, if they wanted to do this, they could just steal it from me. They're in the legal rights to do so. I own nothing about this project. Even original characters. That's like a pet peeve. Makes an original character and says they're copyrighted to them. In the back of my mind, I think, well, technically no, because it's an Irkin, and so Irkins are the property of Invader Zim. Anyways, so yeah. Thing and I see it as an astronomical impossibility. So yeah, how old was I when I first started watching Invader Zim? I don't know. That's a good question. I've known about not when I first aired. When it first aired, I didn't know about it. I probably found out about it when I was high school sometime, about 10. No, not that wouldn't be 10 years ago. Middle school, I meant 10 years ago. Yeah, something like that. Favorite Invader Zim episode. I'm just speeding through these guys, by the way. Favorite Zim episode, real quick. The Wetning. The Wetning was the first one I saw. I do remember seeing it, and I loved it. It was great. Favorite episode, The Wetning, because it was the first one I saw. Next to that's probably Backseat Drivers. That one's awesome. Am I going to college? No, because ever since I was like 5, I've wanted to do film school and like make movies and stuff. But no, there's no. It was out of my budget, and that, along with a few other reasons, led me to believe that college wasn't for me. So I chose not to. Instead, I'm opting to go the other route and just go straight to making movies and stuff. It's supposed to kind of help me sort of. In this movie, this fan film, funny enough, is my education in filmmaking. It's teaching me a whole lot, and I'm having a blast doing it. Even if it's taking forever and a day, it is teaching me every step of the filmmaking process, from research and stuff. And to me, I know for a fact that's more than a college education could ever give me. So that's the answer to that question. Let me think. Favorite character is Zim. hands down, no questions asked. If the show's about him, yeah. Favorite Nickelodeon show aside from Invader Zim? You know, funny enough, I don't watch cartoons anymore, and I don't even watch anything on TV. That's just not my thing. So the fact that I even became a fan of a show in the first place is like extremely rare. So, favorite Nickelodeon show besides Zim? Probably SpongeBob, honestly, because that's the longest I've had. Let me think. Yeah, SpongeBob. That would be it. I remember being super little, and that was my favorite. Favorite Gurr quote? I don't have one. They're all just pretty nice. I don't know. I think when they're in Mortos de Searles, the dealer, and when Gurr says, "Puppies!" and then Zim's like, "You can eat later, Gurr." Not really a Gurr quote, but like a moment, an exchange, that sort of thing. Invader Zim Smeathood. Okay, I think you're asking if the movie will have flashbacks to Zim as a child. No, it will not. So that was quick to answer. What's this a drawing of? Okay, yeah, let's talk about this. This is a drawing of defective Area 9. Well, not really. In IZTDM, I had to come up with a way that Irkins are judged and like sort of evaluated and stuff, like based on the tallest. There's the tallest. Yeah, no, not the tallest. Man, I'm scatterbrained right now. The Trial, the canceled episode, The Trial, sort of went through the whole the whole thing where defectives are judged and determined unworthy to live and all that. And so I open up the movie with a defective going through the process of being like processed and determined unworthy and basically shipped off to be a slave making snacks for the rest of his life. Because without spoiling anything, this is a key thing in the film in a comedic way. And so this is one of the settings. This is like the big factory area where they're processed and stuff. I haven't added any conveyor belts yet. I plan on doing that maybe during the live stream. But I can't really. If I can concentrate, I might not be able to concentrate and talk at the same time. But conveyor belts, like imagine like this, and a giant tangled up mess of conveyor belts running up and down through the center. It's chaos, but it's like just really ominous looking and kind of funny with how complicated it is. So that's what that is. Let me see, what else? I have read all the comics. They're of varying quality, just like the show. Some are great, some are not funny and just kind of bland. That's just my opinion, though. Have watched Courage the Cowardly Dog. What's my favorite movie? I actually wouldn't know. I have a lot. I wouldn't know. You know the guy who made the 3D spindle owner for a few months ago? I'm his brother, and he wants me to tell you he's extremely busy in college and can't really help. Duly noted. I understand. This thing runs entirely on volunteer work, and I understand that. Like, so if people can't help, I understand that. Like, I try to get people to volunteer who do have time on their hands, but if stuff comes up and they can't help, or they think they can help at first but wind up can't, I understand. So that's no big problem. I will not scream your names. That is spam-like and wasting my time. Opinions on air. It's nice and breathable. I think I've gone through the questions you've been sending me. And it's hilarious. I'm saying this, and it's going to take like half a minute to reach you guys. And by the time it reaches you guys, there will be more questions, which is okay. That's what the whole point of this is. I think it's funny. I don't really watch YouTubers. I just like a variety of informational stuff and stuff like that. And no need to apologize. No need to apologize. It's funny. It's just funny. I will not scream anyone's name. Also because that might disturb people nearby, and I don't want to do that. Is there a personal reason you are so understanding? Not quite sure what that means. Have you played the Walking Dead games? Not really my thing. I'm a bit of a sissy in terms of I don't like things with cussing in them. I know that's a very particular thing, and yeah, that's very specific. It might have to do with basically how I was raised and not really, I don't know. It just is a detractor for me. So no, and yeah, that's about it. But if you like them, that's cool. I haven't played the Walking Dead games. Yeah, but that's kind of off topic. That is very off topic. But I'll answer it. I'll try to narrow in and do narrow it down to IZTDM as we go, though. What kind of games do I play? Variety, platformers, adventure games. I really got into Armello recently. That's really, really fun. I like strategy games, of course, that sort of stuff. First-person shooters are for me. The only time I play first-person shooters is when I'm with my brothers or fighting them or something. That's fun. Outside of that, not really. and they all seem the same to me. So you can see how that would kind of a moment where I wouldn't really be into first-person shooters very much. I have heard of Wolfenstein though. Okay, and I do like lasagna, the food. So that seems to be answering a lot of questions. Yeah. So let me just see. Let me just see if we have anything in Twitter right now. I'm not looking at chat right now. I'm looking at Twitter. I thought there was like 2 or 3 things someone tweeted at me that was relevant to Invader Zim and that was actually a question. Let me see here. Someone tweeted at me. What's this? Someone asked me if I was live streaming the movie. No. This is just a Q&A thing. And that was there. And I answered, okay, and I answered your question about flashbacks to Jim's childhood. Okay, no. I'd like to keep the questions within the chat. It's just easier to look at. Let me see. Have seen the Lego Batman movie? Yes. Besides your own fan fiction, do you think there is any good ones? I don't really read fan fiction. And again, this goes back to I'm not like a lot of fans in that the only reason I'm doing this is because I have no clue, first of all, why I'm doing TDM. It just seemed right at the time. Zim had no continuation thing, had no way of like going on, and had no didn't look like it had a future. So I'm like, hey, I can give it one. It's free game, because I was a naive little person. But yeah, I don't like fan fiction on a general rule of thumb. It has to really, really stand out for me to like it, and nothing has done that so far. My default is not liking fan fiction. I'm not saying I shut off to it, but first of all, I don't have time to read it. You know, I'm busy. But also, fan fiction in general, my default is not liking it unless it can prove to me that it's really good. Because, I mean, let's face it, there's not a lot of good fanfics out there. And Pen Neilil, not that I have a problem with voice actors or anything, but are you considering fixing the audio or replacing a voice actor? I'm going to up the audio quality. I'm going to tweak it in Audacity and make it really high quality. I'm not replacing voice actors. These people have put their all into it, and I am completely satisfied with their tone. And the funny thing is, everyone on the questioning, you guys might have seen that, the questioning in that everyone had a different character they said wasn't quite right, but then one they said was completely right. And between all the criticism, there was no consistency. You know, it's like for every person that says Zim is great, someone says Zim is bad. For every one person that says Dib or Gaz or the tallest are great, there's like other people that say they're not great. So it's more a matter of perspective. And I think because of the fact that I can't seem to get consistent negativity towards any voice actors, that tells me that, yeah, they're all pretty solid enough for a fan film anyways. And so I think that works, you know. So that's what I think. That's what I think about the voice actors, and I'm not gonna replace them because they've worked really hard. I love those guys, and they really did a top-notch job as far as my opinion goes. And as the director, that's the opinion that it ends and starts with. Yeah. So, any other questions, real quick? I mean, I keep saying that, but I'm having that's fine answering the questions for now. We can move on to other stuff later, but yeah. Any questions? Did you read issue 17? I've read all the Invader Zim issues. Not sure which one that is. I don't quite memorize their numbers. But yeah, I've read all the Invader Zim issues. Are you the only person in charge? Yes, I am the only person in charge. It's just me. I tried having someone to sort of manage people like a sub-director. That didn't work out, so it's just me. What do I know about conventions? I know they're all too far away from me, and I am too much of a cheapskate to go. I would go if they were closer or cheaper, but for me, nah. If you were to give TDM a rating, I would probably give it PG-13, if only because of violence, not because of language or anything like that. I try to keep it in line with the show. PG-13, probably more on the PG-13 side just because of, like I said, violence. Not gore or anything per se, just, you know, people die. And it's not like, oh, they got destroyed or, oh, they quote-unquote got, you know, taken away. No, died. Flat out death. Funny, though. It's all funny. It's not serious. It's not meant to be serious. So, yeah. Do you think Jonah knows about the movie? I have no idea. If he does, he is wise not to comment on it because I know that would put a legal tricky thing. And I'm actually kind of hoping Jonah doesn't know about the film because I feel dirty whenever I think of Jonah finding out about it. It's like, oh, yeah, this is your baby, not mine. So, yeah. Will Pig Boy appear? No. Can you get the voice actors on the live stream? Not right now because they're all busy and this was kind of a last minute thing. So they're not going to be on this one, I don't think. I couldn't see that happening. Favorite Invader Zim episode? I answered this earlier. It is The Wetning, with a close second being Backseat Drivers from Beyond the Stars. I find it funny. Backseat Drivers from Beyond the Stars is, for me, it's the middle point. Like, everything before that, the writing was great, but the animation was, all right. Everything after that, the animation is awesome, but the writing is, like, decreasing in quality. Yeah, I think that anyways. I don't know about you guys. Everyone has their opinions, obviously, but for me, the writing quality went down after Backseat Drivers. That's just me, though. Let me see. Excuse me. There. Let me think. Why do you seem so nice? I don't know. Nice is very subjective. I guarantee you I seem very mean to someone out there. I couldn't answer that. Get all the cast and crew of Invader Zim. No. I can't just grab voice actors and have them help. That's just not plausible. It's way too out there, and contracts and whatnot. It's just too much of a mess. Besides which, I have perfectly good voice actors with me, and I think that's great. What about future live streams? Yeah, future live streams, I definitely want some of my voice actors to appear. I've talked with a few of them. A few of them seem really on it. Some of them haven't replied, but yeah, I will definitely try to do that in future live streams for sure. Will Tack appear? Absolutely. Not as a big part, but she does pop in and out of the plot as like a sort of a in and out type thing, What happens after the Q&A ends? After the Q&A ends, I actually have a few things planned. First of all, going through like a behind-the-scenes tour of some of the stuff I've been doing, and then also going on and asking you guys a few questions about the direction this film should take. Because as you know, I can't animate it like I wanted to as a full-length traditional 2D animated thing. It's just not possible. I've already spent 5 years of my life on this, and it's just now in the concept art stage. And I really don't want to just go on and, waste more time of my, well, not waste, spend more time of my life on that. I would much rather just go straight to animation and find a way to kind of make it work like an animated comic or something really cool. Okay, first rule is it has to be awesome looking. But anyways, that's some of the stuff we'll talk about after the Q&A ends in a few minutes. I think the movie will be about 2.5 hours long, but I'm not a good judge of that. It depends on what scenes I cut or leave in. That's roughly what I'm thinking. Probably could be a lot shorter than that, though. Least favorite episode. Oh, my gosh. Christmas episode was kind of dumb. The Gaz episode was kind of lame. More Toaster Soul Stealer was, all right, even though it had that hilarious Gurr quote. The writing seemed to fall apart around the end. So those three are my biggest gripes, definitely with the Gaz one being the least favorite of all of them. Gaz Taster of Pork was just, the writing and pacing and everything was completely off for me. The humor didn't land. Yeah. What did you feel like your life was like in Invader? Did you feel like your life was like Invader Zim when you had to deal with school? Nah, my school was great. I was okay with it. Invader Zim is, what was your favorite animated film? I can't tell you that. That changes every year. But the animated film actually that got me inspired to do filmmaking was The Page Master. I saw a behind-the-scenes clip of them, how they made the characters animated and stuff. Blew my mind as a 5-year-old. And then since then, I was like, yes, I'm going to do that. Are there any books that have helped you learn screenwriting? Now, see, not really. It's more just a variety of watching YouTube videos, watching lectures from professors online, not from colleges I go to, but like Googling lectures and stuff, researching, watching movies and studying what I like or don't like about them. I can't really tell you. It's just a hodgepodge of a bunch of different stuff and not a book in there. Honestly, it's just, yeah. Honestly, actually, if I'm going to be truthful, Invader Zim, the Doom movies script is not the best. It's bloated. It has too much description. If I were to do it again, I would have it much more concise and to the point. Yeah. How would you feel if you got a cease and desist on the film right before you were planning to release the movie? Oh, easy enough. I'd just share it to my friends and family via email. I wouldn't publicly post it, and then just see what happens there. I have a plan for that. Is just my plan for that is just converting it into something small enough, or cutting it up into pieces and sending it to friends and family, and seeing how that works from there. But I wouldn't publicly post it. It would all depend on the terms of the cease and desist. Also, if the terms specified that I need to just stop completely and not share it ever, then I would do that. I mean, they're in their full legal right to shut me down, and I would have no trouble with them. I wouldn't be resentful or angry at them if they did that. What do I think is the coolest unfinished episode? The trial, hands down. Fascinating, fun, hilarious, dark, humorous. It's everything I like about Invaders Zim. I love the trial the most. How are you doing on animations so far? I don't have any. No animations at all. We are in the concept art stage. And after that comes storyboards, then animatics, then animation. So we are quite a ways off from animation. Sorry to report, but that's just the way it is. The release date was going to be today, actually. It was going to be today, and that was several years ago. I planned on it being today. But then the reality of the situation hit me in the head, and now it doesn't have a release date. It's just whenever we get it done, whenever we get it done. If I had to guess, probably a few more years if we want it to be good. Anything that's good takes time. Won't be attending any conventions. They're all out of my reach, and I'm too much of a cheapskate to do that. So I'm sorry about that, guys, but that's just not how it is for me. Sorry. Would you prefer the show as it already is, like Goofy, or would you prefer it as a serious cartoon? Goofy, hands down. Shows are too serious too often. I love Invaders Zim for the fact that it was goofy. You could enjoy watching the characters stumble and fail. You can enjoy watching their misery and not feel guilty for it. And the fact is, the characters are so shallow. I mean, honestly, we can think they're deep, but they're shallow characters, and so that's hilarious to see them fail and stuff. That's what I think the charm of the show is, and that's why I would personally prefer Goofy to a show as opposed to a serious. Have not met any of the voice actors in person. The closest I could come to that is when I did a live stream with Ezra Moreno. He's the person who is voicing Tallest Red for my film. Actually, funny enough, he did a live stream with the real Tallest Red, Wally Wingert. And I had a few exchanges with him during that live stream, and it was kind of fun. It was online, of course. He was on the phone, and so not really in person, but that was pretty cool. I was excited for that. What do you think of the Invaders Zim comics? They range. Some of them are great. It's polarizing, you know. Some of them are hilarious. Like, I find myself laughing, and they're great. Others are just stupid, and I don't like them. And I'm sorry if that sounds mean, but that's just the truth of it, you know. I just look at it and I'm like, this isn't funny. This is just weird for the sake of being weird, and it's not clicking with me. So that's kind of like that. I don't have any other unfinished episodes I want to highlight, and you know, but the trial was pretty much it. And I can't categorize Invader Dib as an unfinished episode because it was just talks. It was in, like, they didn't even have a plot summary. Like, that's how few they had it. So yeah, that's about it. And I'm not going to animate unfinished episodes at all. None of them. After TDM, I don't plan on doing any more Invader Zim stuff because I have ideas of my own that I want to see done. And so, yeah, that's basically it. And if any of you miss out on the live stream or have to leave for a break or whatever and come back, don't worry. This is going to be posted on YouTube afterwards, so you can come back and watch it at your leisure. Perfectly fine to do that. And yeah, so that'll be fun. Hey, Jeffrey Bryce. Hello. The reason I called him out in particular, guys, is because he is going to be helping me with the soundtrack a little bit. We're working out a deal for him to help me, and we're not there yet. Soundtrack is one of the last things you do. That's very important. You do it absolutely last, except for the themes you can compose at any time, you know, give it an idea for the vibe and stuff. But soundtrack's going to be last because it relies on kind of dancing around the sound effects and kind of, you know, working with what's edited, you know. So that's why soundtrack is going to be the very last thing. But I called him out. Hello, didn't expect to see you here. I'm happy you're showing up. That's awesome. Where do we go to find your other work once you've finished TDM? Good question. I have a few YouTube channels I'll probably post links to some other time. Or not a few, just one. And I'm not going to share anything about my other projects because number one, I'm super protective like that. And number two, I kind of want to keep this stream focused on Invader Zim. But yeah, I will post my other projects that I do afterwards, like whenever I can post something that's worth viewing. I'll post them on YouTube, show links, and all that. April 1st, can you upload the movie but make it 3 seconds long? Yeah, I could. I think I'll do that. That'll be my prank. Thank you. Hello. And hi, everyone. And thank you for that idea. That's a hilarious idea. Very glad you thought of it. Is my chair too noisy? Please let me know. That just occurred to me that I might be bumping the mic and stuff. And if I'm doing that, that's annoying. And the reason I don't know is because I muted the audio so it doesn't confuse me, because there's a huge lag. And if I leave the audio on, it will like echo and like block and like confuse me to no end. So is my chair too loud? Is there any problem with the audio, guys? Just let me know if there is. I'll try to adjust it. If not, we can move on. And you can sit here and listen to me awkwardly sip my coffee while I'm looking at the responses. I wish I could show you guys like a little webcam, to kind of get like a little webcam up in the corner, like a Let's Play video, to just sort of interact with you guys while I'm doing behind the scenes stuff. But I don't have access to my camera right now. My camera is with my brother, and he is out of town. So yeah, can't do that. Wish I could, can't. I am using a really tall coffee cup. That's the only way to drink coffee, is if you can pour enough of it in there to be unhealthy. I would hate it if they did a reboot that was like the way people are doing reboots, you know? Like Powerpuff Girls, I guess there was a big to-do about that, I guess. I don't know. I'm wary of Nick doing a reboot. I'm really wary about that. I would love to talk to Richard Horvitz, but I don't know. I don't know if I would, because voice acting isn't really my thing. I voice a few characters in TDM only because the roles needed filled and no one else was really up for the part. But I would talk to Richard Horvitz, sure, but I don't know about getting acting classes with him, just because that's not really my thing, you know. Now, you know, I'm more of the big director type guy, you know, big picture writing and all that. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Good to know my chair is not a problem. And guys, I'm going to allow everyone one more question starting right now, and then we'll move on to other things. But I'll allow everyone one more question, so if you have it, go ahead and ask. Floppy 98x42 says, how long did it take you to learn all the ins and outs of film? I mean, 5 years. I've been working on TDM for 5 years. 5 years is when I officially got super serious about filmmaking. So yeah, and I'm still learning. Oh, hang on, I'm going to burp. Excuse me. But yeah, 5 years. That's how long I've been learning, basically, because that's when I started TDM, and that's when I really dove in and started learning the ins and outs, and I'm still learning. What do you think of the IZ soundtrack? It's amazing. Wish more cartoons would have soundtracks that awesome. Love it to bits. I love each and every one of you. I'm going to get Richard working on it. I don't see any more questions right now. Oh, wait, there's one. What's your favorite IZ episode? For the third time's the charm. The Wetning, with a close second being Backseat Drivers from Beyond the Stars. Besides clearing up the script, this is a good one. What else would you do over if you had the chance? Honestly, I would be, since I know more about what I know right now, I would more focus on concept art right away and doing a lot more of it myself. Not because the people I'm with are bad, but because they're busy. You know, there's the catch-22. I did get a lot of volunteers up front that were, you know, not the best concept artists, but they could, you know, they're decent enough to do rough sketches and stuff. And they had plenty of time. But then when it came time for finished concept art, I could get access to people, but they were super busy. So that was kind of the balancing act that I had to go through there. So the only other thing I would change would be the way I did concept art, kind of do a lot more myself. Will this story involve just the main characters and places, or places across the universe? Here are the two main locations this story takes place in: Planet Earth, EARTH, and Planet Irk, IRK. You know, IRK. Wow, I said that funky. Planet Irk, Planet Earth. There's a few in between things, but they're not important. They're more just background stuff, you know, just setting stuff. Nothing that really plot-wise makes a difference. Swollen Eyeball will not make an appearance in the movie, unfortunately. Couldn't write them in. There's like lots of characters already. And for that reason, Miss Bitters isn't in there either, just because couldn't find anyone to act for her, number one. And number two, I couldn't really find a plot point that would really make sense with her. And as it is, there's lots of characters already. So for that reason, no Swollen Eyeball, unfortunately. Good one. What questions do I plan on doing after this? That was a dumb thing to say. What kinds of films am I planning on doing after this? Mostly with the ideas I'm seeing, kind of horror, like scary movies, but not live action movies, more like animated horror movies. And not like anime either. It's hard to explain. I have a few different ideas that I think are unique. And for that reason, I won't say any more than that. But you can expect like a kind of dark cartoon type stuff. And yeah, I can't say any more. But I think these would be really cool. And horror is my favorite genre of filmmaking, up there with sci-fi. Comedy, I think, would be the third favorite. And so you can expect kind of stuff like that. But yeah, that's thank you for asking that. That's nice. I will not be, famous Hector G has one final question. What can you do remakes of canceled Invader Zim episodes? I'm not going to be doing that. And then Crystal Cat asks something similar about Soapy Waffles animation. I would help Soapy Waffles, but I can't really. You know, I'm busy enough as it is. I'm happy. Oh, thank you, Genio Perez. Thank you very much. I'm happy that, yeah, thank you. But yeah, that's the answer for that Soapy Waffles question. They're awesome. But they're doing their own thing. I'm kind of doing mine, but they sort of help out with promotion and stuff. I help promote them whenever I get news of them. And I can tell you guys real quick, let you know, they are not canceling Soapy Waffles. They are still doing stuff. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm allowed to say. But yeah, trust me, they're not done. Here. Okay, Fizzy Soda just asked a question. I'm not going to cancel it, by the way, Adam. I am not going to cancel the Doom movie. And but Fizzy Soda just asked a good question. Oh, wait. I don't believe in aliens. My film will not be more popular than the fake Lost episode. I've seen the start of that, and then I stopped very quickly. But I saw the view count on it. Here's the thing: if you aim low, if your expectations are low, then they'll be super blown away in real life, or you'll meet your expectations and not be disappointed. So I don't anticipate IZTDM being this big blowing thing, mind blowing thing. But I'm doing it more for the experience, you know, for myself. And so that's why I'm looking at it that way. And now, Fizzy Soda did ask something I want to get to. So sorry if I cut off your questions, guys. But I did want to segue into this. They asked, how am I animating IZTDM? Well, I am super happy you asked. Let me just close this. And yeah. And now let me go to this. And let's open up Toon Boom Animate. It'll take a bit to load, so patience, please. But yeah. Let me see. I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the, let me think. IZTDM. Wow, there's a lot of stuff. Wow, where was it? It was one of the promotional things I did, the Christmas. Yeah, Quizmas. That's the name of the folder, Quizmas. Okay, here we go. I am using a program called Toon Boom Animate Pro 2. I do have access to a higher quality one called Toon Boom Harmony. Oops. Oh gosh, this is funny. I pulled up the animatic I did, not the official thing. Oh well, whatever. Look at this. This is so ridiculous. Oh wow, it has audio and everything. Okay, I'll play this later. Yeah. I use Toon Boom Animate Pro 2. I saved up for it over the course of 1 year and got it for myself for Christmas when they were having discounts. But then Harmony, Toon Boom Harmony is what I have right now. And it's what I plan on using for more future projects. It's just right now, this is what I'm used to, and I'm still getting the hang of Harmony. And like, some of you might know, I'm helping out the person who's voicing Tallest Red for me. He's doing a short film. And so in exchange for him helping me on IZTDM with storyboards and stuff, in addition to voice acting, I'm helping him animate. And so I'm using this to animate that short film, and I don't really want to change over until that's done, just so that the animation's consistent and whatnot. And my Let's Animate thing will not get a second video right now. I am so sorry that I failed that. It's kind of funny that I have just a one thing that didn't work out too well. It's because the lag. When I was recording it, I was dealing with a lot of lag, and that was really throwing off my style. When I get a better graphics card and a better program to screencast with, that's when I'll go ahead and do it. I don't like Flash. That's Fizzy Soda asked me why don't I use Flash. I just don't like it. It's not really my thing. Toon Boom Animate's what I got started on, and that's what I stick with. It is so versatile, so user-friendly. I love it to bits. It's what I'm used to, and it's what I got to do to make that Invader Zim Christmas thing you guys saw. Here, real quick, why don't I embarrass myself? I'm going to go ahead and make sure the volume's all right. I'm going to go ahead, turn off my microphone for a second, and then I'm going to try and play this so you guys can see the rough animatic for the Christmas thing. That ought to be fun. Okay, my mic's about to cut out, guys. Just letting you know. Can you hear me now? Let me check. Oh, I'm back. Yay! Okay, cool. Okay, I am just gonna not touch a single thing. I think my microphone cord was loose. That's a problem. Well, a problem that was easily fixed, obviously. Oh, that was embarrassing. Okay, good. I didn't have to stop and start a new live stream like I thought I was going to have to. That would have been a pain in the butt. Oh, good. Okay, we're back. That's okay. Wow, that was stressful. Okay. So let's get this cleared up right away. You guys can hear me now, which is awesome, but you could not hear when I was trying to play the audio for you from this storyboard thing that I'm currently ruining, just absolutely ruining. You couldn't hear that, but you can hear me, which is awesome. Is that about right? Okay, well, I have an idea. I'm going to go ahead. Oops, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and unplug my. This is better than nothing, okay? Until I can figure out what's actually wrong, this is better than nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just unplug my headphones and actually just play this with the volume turned up on my computer speakers themselves. It'll come through kind of cruddy, but better than nothing, and you can get the general idea, which is fine. So now my whole family around me can just hear this horrible voice, which is okay. Here we go.
Behold, Dimfilth, I have upgraded Gur to be outfitted with the latest in holiday weapon technology.
Looks like you just slapped some Christmas-themed junk on.
There was no slapping involved. Besides, he also has a secret. For, you see, on command, he vomits on chocolate! Oh, you! Oh,
Did that come through a little clear, guys? I'm trying so hard. I think that might have not come through clear. People are just typing question mark as a comment. Did that come through clear, or was it kind of not clear at all? And we'll just move on and pretend this never happened. Let me know, let me know, let me know. Sweet, good. Okay, that's good. We can use that for other stuff. And hindsight's 2020. I should mute my microphone every time I'm plugging and unplugging headphones. Oh my gosh, that's obnoxious. Okay, so now you get the idea. That was like a rough animatic. Nothing special, nothing too big. And now I'm going to close this, not save my changes, and now I'm going to try and find the actual thing. Zim sounded like some kind of midget serial killer. Yeah, it was. Zim is, and that's a little known fact that I only know from years of intensive study. And actually also that just because that was my fake audio, and so yes. Finished. Okay, oh no, it'd be under scenes, right? I think it'd be under scenes. Dib Zim. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is what I was trying to show you guys when I first loaded all this up is, let me pull it up. This is a behind-the-scenes look at that Invader Zim Christmas thingamajig. So yeah, right here you can see this is the setup I got for the actual short that I did for in Christmas. Wanted to do a little Christmas special thing, and I think it was because we had a Secret Santa thing on Tumblr, and the person I picked wanted to have something involving Gur, and so ask and you shall receive. I did something involving Gur. So yeah, this is a behind-the-scene thing. I'll talk to you about 3D graphics later on, but yeah, that is what this is. And also, someone asked earlier, that was hot chocolate all along? Yes, it was, because it's festive and holiday themed. So yeah, this is a behind-the-scenes look at my stuff. And if you guys are up for it, I'll walk you through it a bit. And if you're not, we can move on. I don't want to bog you down with boring things. So just let me know if you guys are interested in me showing you the process that I did to make this. I'm totally open to that. I'm totally open to just not doing that at all. So just let me know, guys. I'm cool either way. Excuse me. Thank you, Fizzy Soda. I see that you said you like the art style. Cool. All right, I'm getting a lot of positivity. Looks like you guys are cool with that. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. Yeah, rock on, Invader Zim. Yeah, woohoo. Okay, so first things first. What you see here? Let me go to the camera. These things down here. You can kind of see, kind of not. They're kind of maybe, yeah. You can't see my mouse, really, can you? Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, these things down here. These are called layers. As you can imagine, each thing goes on a different layer. It's very important, very, very important to draw the character's limbs, the backgrounds, everything gets its own separate layer. And if you want to see how complicated that gets, here you go. This is, every box represents a layer or an effect. Most of them are layers. This is what work goes into animation. Excuse me, I'm going to burp again. Excuse me. This is the rig up. This is the sort of, this is all the stuff. This is all the stuff you got, you know, like here we have Zim's eye, Zim's left eye filling, Zim's eye mask 2, cutter. Yeah, this is complicated stuff, but it came out really awesome. And obviously, as you saw, it turned out great. I loved doing it. Gur has his, you know, Gur's arm gets its own layer. What else? Just an example of all the different stuff that it has. Yeah, lots and lots of layers, indeed. But here's the thing. It's just one at a time. You know, like I'm sitting here, I'll draw one thing, and then I'll do the whole layer, draw the one thing, then add another, and draw the whole thing. And so it kind of stacks up. This is about total, I would guess, about 7 or 8 hours of work total. I actually didn't keep track of time, so I might be completely wrong. But yeah, this is one at a time. Every layer, I just went through it, and then when I was done with it, I flipped over to this tab, make sure everything was somewhat reasonably organized. Obviously, you can't organize everything completely so that it's visually obvious, but I tried to do it basically right. But yeah, first thing I did, the very first thing I did for this, it took me about a week, and I said 13 hours earlier. That was just if you cut out all the time I wasn't working on it, but I did it over the course of about a week or two, from start of animation to finish. The first thing I did was I drew these mountains, and let me get rid of all the hide all the layers and just go straight to the mountains. Yeah, so here we go. The first thing I did for the mountains, I kind of flat line, that black line you see there. And then I kind of took my pen and did something like this. Let me get this right. I want to zoom out. Okay, so you see the mountains, they had to cover a long stretch so that that camera pan at the start could, you know, cover all of them. Oh, wait, actually, where's the camera? I should turn that on too, just so, for clarification. And I'll mute the snow. Yeah, here, fun thing real quick. The snow is actually attached to the camera because at the start, the camera pans across the viewpoint. And I didn't want to draw a whole long, lengthy series of snowflakes, which would be going in and out of frame faster and faster. So what I did do instead was I attached the snow to the camera so that it can just be like one section of snow constantly falling. And that saves a lot of time. And here's a pro tip for me. Animation is all about cheating. Novi asked what I use. I use a graphics tablet. That's a must. But animation is all about cheating. It doesn't matter whether you do it the right way or the wrong way. There is no right or wrong. It's about convincing the audience that what they're seeing is all right. And so I did a lot of cheating here, as you will see. I didn't draw every frame by frame. I used a lot of cheating. The trick is to cheat well. Don't cheat so that the audiences realize that you're cheating. You're supposed to cheat in a way that is convincing to audiences. Don't cheat in school, kids. So anyways, ignore the snow. Actually, I'll turn the snowflakes off for now. They were very simple. I just sort of did a bunch of dots, copied and pasted, and then looped them. That's a looped animation because why bother drawing each individual one when you can just cheat? But anyways, for the mountains, I had a rough time at first with the mountains. It was difficult to sort of draw these in at first, but then I realized, oh yeah, there's this thing called the Fibonacci sequence. And if you don't know what that is, it's a series of numbers that goes 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, basically 8. I mean, basically you add the previous number to your current thing. And this sounds weird. Trust me, I know it sounds weird when dealing with animation. Trust me, this came into play for me. And if you follow me along, you'll see how this helped me with mountains. So the Fibonacci sequence, I use it every time I'm trying to do like a series of things like mountains or stars or snowflakes or leaves or anything. Anytime there's a sequence of things, like there's a lot and I'm not sure quite how to detail it, I use the Fibonacci sequence. Now, if you're watching, you're going to have to count the mountain peaks. Like these things down here don't count. You know, that's just a little extra thing for the sake of it. But when I first drew it, I just drew the outlines of the mountains first of all, and it was 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's a Fibonacci sequence. It's a way of making it look natural without looking synthetic. You know, because the problem is if you're drawing it on your own, here, I'll just demonstrate what I found the problem was without it. Here, that's big enough to see, right? Oh, no, not that big. Yeah. So the problem was, naturally enough, if you're inclined to draw mountains, it's kind of like, okay, one, then here's another, then here's another, and here's another, maybe like that. And then before long, you notice you start getting into a pattern. And see, that looks fake. Even if they were drawn well, they would look fake because it's 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3. It looks kind of fake. With the Fibonacci sequence, I found out that occurs a lot in nature. And so I did that. Someone asked how long it took me to do the animation. It took about a week. I did it over the course of a week, but altogether, the hours I put into it, probably 13 hours. Anyway, so that's a little hint for me. It's what I use. And anytime it starts getting too cluttered, like 5, if this had needed to continue on, I would have probably gone backwards. I'd have probably done 3, then 2, then 1, and then maybe I'll skip 1 and go back to 2. But not make it look the same. There's a trick. I also like reverse it. So instead of doing like that, I'd probably do like this or something, just to make variety. That's the thing. Someone says, "Hey man, someone's been making films for years now. Maybe he could give advice." I'm always open to advice. I'll probably look into that. Thank you. But anyway, so yeah, this is the mountains, and let me show you guys. This is why I love Toon Boom Animate. So let's say I want to draw a mountain. Let me draw a mountain for you real quick. Let's say I do this and then this, this. Okay, so and the horizon obviously would already be there. We have our mountain, and now we want to make it work. So what I do is I go over here to this cutter tool, which is amazing. Get it all set up, and then watch and be amazed. This saves me tons of time, guys. It is a lifesaver when it comes to animation. I mean, like, seriously. This is where they cross. And so that is mind-blowing to me and really awesome. This is like the biggest selling point for me for Toon Boom Animate is that. See, because the traditional way, obviously, I would have had to gone in and do this. I would have had to gone in and manually take an eraser and, you know, do like that, you know, etc. So that saves a lot of time. Hey man, is the movie a fan ending for the original show or just a fan story? It's a fan ending for the original show. At the time, Invader Zim had no hopes when I started making it, so yeah. Anyways, so that's how I did the mountains. And the same thing applies to everything. You know, when I do that, or, well, the pen's not active. Whenever 2 lines cross and I needed to do that, I just, done. So that's how I did all this stuff with that technique. Then the next thing I did was the foreground. And let me see. Do I have that? I don't know where it is. It's probably, oh yeah, here it is. Foreground. Bam, done. For the foreground, lot less precise. I just made sort of a wavy, crooked shape to make it look like heaps of snow, and then I filled it in. That was not very hard. I sort of cheated. You notice the mountains I actually shaded, and by the way, same thing applies for the mountains. For the shading, I did the Fibonacci sequence, and so that's that. And yeah, that's kind of cool. So that's that. That's how I did the foreground. The next thing I did were, let me just throw them in there, the snowflakes. Simple enough, easy enough. Easy enough to just make layers of snowflakes falling down. And obviously I did that after I set up the scene, because if I had done the snowflakes first, I wouldn't be sure how long things need to go on, how lengthy everything is. But with this, I could just sort of pan the camera across, you know, and then that would work on its own, you know, because then I know how long the scene is relative to the mountains and stuff, all that jazz. And funny enough, the mountains and everything are on their own layers. I'm gonna add to this piece, yeah. And Zim doesn't have a reboot. That's a myth. It currently does not have a reboot. I haven't heard anything about that. I think it's just a myth. But anyways, the next thing I did was the background, the stars in the sky, Where did I put that? It's somewhere on here. Okay. Next thing I did was the clouds. The clouds were simple enough. I just drew like wavy sort of line things, and they kind of just wave out. And, you know, there's like, you know, wavy stuff. That's very straightforward, actually. And then I applied a gradient to it. White at the bottom, light blue at the top. Gives it a nice view. Makes it look cold and stuff while still maintaining that Invader Zim feel. Let me just make everything visible again. Next thing I did was the sky, which was not a problem. Just a big box that gradiates like that. And then the stars. You might not realize it, but let me apply this. These blobby things are stars, and that I just copied right off a screenshot of the show. I'm not even going to be ashamed to admit it. Copied it right off of a screenshot of the show, and then just tweaked them a bit so that they could fit in the scene. No shame, just literally that's exactly what I did. And as you can see here, this I've applied effects so you can see it better. I blur things at different times to kind of make it look nice. And yeah, Fizzy Soda pointed something out. The sky is always red in Invader Zim. That's why this had to be blue so that it looks, because it looked Arctic and stuff. It looked very weird with the red sky. In fact, let me show you. I bet I have it right here somewhere. Yeah, here's how weird it would look with the red sky. It would look really, really weird. Yeah, this is why I didn't do a red sky. As you can see, there are some problems with that. So yeah, I had to make it deep blue to make it look Arctic and stuff, to get the impression of being on the North Pole. And it might look cool, but it didn't really set the tone I wanted, this Christmassy sort of tone. And yes, I guarantee you it's because of pollution or something wrong with Earth in the show. Oh, how long has this been here? Get rid of that. So yeah, basically did the setting. That's a summary of it anyways. The next thing I did was Zim. Or no, the next thing I did was Gur. Gur was the next thing I did. So right here, we see Gur. He's got his little holly headband and Christmas thingies. Got them all decked out. Got a little bit of, you know, his shoulder pads are Christmassy colors. Yeah. And then of course his flames, I had to make the flames light red. Oh, this is off focus. Oops, sorry. Had to make his flames, the flames coming out of his body, out of his feet, light red for Christmassy colors. And this is something you can't actually see in the final thing. I actually have a puddle of snow melting beneath him. It's just slowly growing and morphing shape. And I don't have time to go into it in this video. But another thing I love about Toon Boom Animate is the fact that you can save it. You can sort of morph between shapes. So like if you start out with one shape and want to go to another, you can tell the computer to do that. Someone in the chat is claiming there is a reboot. I've never even heard of it. So yeah, but anyways, I guess if there is a reboot, just, I don't know, send it to me. Send the proof. I want proof because this fandom is known for rumors and lies. But anyways, I don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just meaning, you know, is known for that. Someone in the chat saying there's a reboot. I don't believe it. I won't believe it until I see hard evidence. Because there's rumors. Nothing but rumors in this fan base. Yeah. A lot of technical stuff went into this. I'm not going to go into everything. Basically, the reason that Zim and Gur and everything moves like it does is because I put all their heads and arms and limbs on separate layers so that I can move it like that, you know. Arms, separate layers, head, separate layers, antenna, every part I could possibly think of, separate layers, so that I could go in later and like move the layers themselves around. Let me get Zim's body going on here. If you're gonna say nonsense in the chat, I'd appreciate it not. If you have something relevant to add about that reboot or something, great. If not, please just refrain from saying things that are spammy. Someone asks, how did you use to animate before Toon Boom? I didn't. I meant send it to me. Send me not a photo on YouTube. I meant send it to me on like DeviantArt, Facebook, Tumblr, something like that. Toby Dooms is setting it straight. It was a rumor created by the same site that created the official IZ rumor. Anyways, I'm skeptical of everything and anything in this fandom for very obvious reasons. Anyways, what I was going to say here is everything about Zim is separated. That's how it's easier to animate and why I don't have to draw every single frame. Let me get his head right here. Look, if I wanted him to tilt his head, all I have to do is grab it and do this. Or let me break his neck. Okay. Anyways, so that's how that works. Then I guess, yeah, that's how that works. Someone in the comments saying you don't have those, then I'm sorry, there's no way to link it. And I don't believe. It's just because I'm so used to rampant rumors and whatnot. You can post a link in the chat, by the way. I'd recommend that you only posting it this once, but I think you can post a link in the chat, right? Or can't you? Anyways, so yeah, after breaking Zim's neck and stuff, I went ahead and animated the rest. As you can see, a lot of it was just posing limbs and stuff. And then I only had to redraw a few things. And also, another fun thing is Zim's mouth. I saved time on animating it because the only time I had to actually do traditional animation is when he says, when his mouth opens really wide up here. Let me skip over to it. Right here. Let's see his head. Like that. Because that's when his head changes shape. And so that's when I actually had to redo it and actually redraw his head. And you see there, I had to do that frame by frame. That was frame by frame animation I had to do. I try to avoid that as much as possible because I'm a lazy person, but sometimes it's required. Like all his arm movements have frame by frame animation to them when they're changing shape. You'll see, where's a good example? There's got to be a good example. Oh, there. See, frame by frame arm movement right there. I had to do that so it could change shape. And another trick I use to make it look like it's well animated is nothing's ever still. Everything's always moving slightly. Like even right here, look at Zim's head. You would think it's supposed to be still, but if you look at it frame by frame, you'll notice it is even slightly tilting. In fact, let me zoom in on it to give you an even better idea. Can I do that? Hang on, I think I can. I should be able to. Yeah. Let me do this. So look at Zim's head. You'll notice it too is slightly tilting. So like this. I always make sure everything is in like here. Yeah, this is a great example. Let me zoom in on his cheek right here as proof. Slightly tilting, ever so slightly. Look at it. And I made sure that applies to everything in this scene. If you go back and watch it, if we watch it start to finish, you'll note that nothing is ever completely still, except for this quick pan because I didn't need to animate them completely. But other than that, when it's finally focused on them and stuff, everything is completely still. I mean, everything is constantly moving, and that gives an impression of more movement than there actually is, and that makes it look animated better. It's another cheat, I know, but it's a good cheat, so why not use it, right? What do you think of Jonan's work other than Zim? Jonan's other work isn't really up my alley, again, because, you know, I don't want to talk about it, but not really up my alley, so I don't really get into his other work. But Invader Zim is amazing, so that's why we're here. But yeah, so that's how I do that. That's why I make sure everything's constantly moving. And then there's a technique called cutting. And I'll talk about it real quick, and then we can move on to some other stuff. I don't want to dwell on this too long. But what cutting is you take a layer, and you say, like Dib's eye right here. This is why I had Dib out of focus, because I couldn't get his eye quite right. It's because Dib's eye, as you can see here, that's why I had him out of focus. But this is a good example of cutting. I had it set up so where his eye, the computer says, okay, I'm only going to have Dib's eye appear wherever it's on top of his head. If it's not on top of his head, I'll just make it invisible. So as you can see here, when he turns his part of his eye just sort of, where is it? Right here. Part of his eye just cuts off. And I do that a lot on things like Zim's shading. Right here, I told the computer this color can only be shown anywhere that the little pink part is. That's the way I get the shading colored. And then and that way I can change the shading and make it really dynamic and stuff without having to redraw a bunch of things, because having to redraw every single frame on this is 564 frames long. Now, can you imagine if I had to redraw every single frame? Yeah. Not happening. So yeah, that's kind of what that is. If you were someone asked me this, I have a question. If you were invited to work on a project by Nick, would you take it? All that stuff. Okay, if I was invited and I knew it was on the up and up, I might, assuming I wasn't under contract to do a whole bunch of episodes. I never want to make a TV series in my life. I'm more of a one and done type guy. And so if I were to be hired by Nick, I would make sure it'd only be for like 1 or 2 things for Invader Zim, first of all. And then even then, I'd probably want to make sure Jonan wasn't being slighted. Like I would make sure they weren't like, okay, we need new writers because we're going to just say no to Jonan. Like that would be garbage. So that would be the criteria. But if they said yes and Jonan was cool with it, obviously, because he's the original creator, even if he legally would be, even if legally he didn't have to say yes, I would make sure he would because it's just the right thing to do. But assuming that happened, then yeah, I would write. I would probably do writing, storyboarding, a little. I would probably do storyboarding and writing and a little bit of concept art. Because they probably have a whole team to do that. And the reason you're seeing so much cheating here is because I have to do animation all on my own. I do not have an Animo app. Sorry. So that's why I do that. Let me think. Hey, someone was wanting to post some quote-unquote evidence of Invader Zim being a reboot, and they said they couldn't do it. If you could link it to me on like my channel, on the channel here. Let me show you real quick because this is interesting. This is relevant, and I think it's Invader Zim related, so we could talk about it. If you go to my channel and click on discussion, you can go ahead and post a comment like, "Hey, check it out! There is a reboot," and then post the link for what it actually is. So that's what I would do if you are really interested in showing us that what you think is proof of a reboot. I'm using Toon Boom Animate Pro 2. I do have access to Toon Boom Harmony, but I'm too comfortable with Pro 2 to do anything else. and I'm really busy. And unless I have the time to learn the ins and outs of Harmony, which I'm well aware is a much better thing. But until that, I plan on doing Toon Boom Pro. I plan on sticking with Pro 2. Yeah. So guys, that's basically it. There's a lot of technical details, but you get the gist of it. So that's a behind the scenes look at this short. If we move on to something else, are you guys cool with that? And yeah, staying in my comfort zone, exactly. Not ashamed to admit it. Absolutely. So if you guys are cool with moving on to something else, I totally will. There's other things I want to talk to you about, and I love this. This is great. We're in a groove now. I'm happy with this. Yes. If you're wanting to move on to something else. No, I am not going to pay anyone to work on it because that is a legally gray area, and I do not want to be responsible for any lawsuits or anything like that. The way I see it is nonprofit. If I'm doing it without any cash exchanging any hands, that saves me from getting into more trouble than I potentially could. Potentially the worst they can do, I see, is shut me down and say cease and desist, and I'll do that. If cash is exchanging hands and I'm paying people to work on this, that's a no-go. Nope, too dangerous for me. So yeah, that's why I'm doing volunteer work only. How much longer would this stream be? As long as I don't know, maybe 1 more hour. I'm not thinking of. I'll probably have an intermission for restroom breaks and stuff for you guys, but I'm thinking another hour or two, another hour and an hour and a half. And so yeah, that's why I'm avoiding that's why I'm avoiding giving cash or paying people for work. That is exactly why I'm only doing volunteer work. I'm well aware they will crush me, and I'm well aware that this way is better off if they just say, "Hey, cut it out," and I'm like, "Okay, I will." So yeah, but yeah, that's the answer to that question. Let me see. Okay, so everyone seems to be cool with moving on. That's a good place to pause it. Guys, I am going to throw you a curveball and say intermission. So if you guys want to go to an intermission, restroom break, meet back here in like 5 minutes. I'm giving you guys that chance. If not, just doodle around, wait around on the computer. Restroom break real quick. Be right back. All that jazz. Let's see here. Actually, first of all, let's see what we got here. I'm going to give you some intermission music because I can. There we go. This is the perfect intermission music. Someone asked if I'm using 3D elements in my work. Yes, there's going to be 3D elements. Don't worry about that. Okay, this should work. We are back, guys. Hi. Did you miss me for the few minutes I was gone? Okay, I think we're going to move on to 3D animation and stuff for the official thing now. Hi, guys. Back. Little intermission. Not much to it. I'm going to close this without saving so the changes aren't deleted or aren't saved. No one missed me. I should not be missed. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to move on to 3D animation. Does anyone have any questions on 3D animation? I saw a few. I missed them. The chat's going kind of fast. But just let me know, guys, questions on 3D animation. Just shoot them my way, and I'll answer them, and then I'll go into a little demonstration of my 3D animation and whatnot. Discussion now. See if anyone's posted that thing. Yeah, someone was saying earlier that they had evidence of a Zim reboot. Again, just go to my YouTube channel, post a link to the evidence if you have that, and that would be worthy of discussion later on. Okay, so but yeah, okay. Questions for 3D animation? Anyone at all? Okay, first question I see. How does it work? Do you use Blender? How expensive has this been? Okay, how expensive it's been, can't quantify that really because the only money that's been exchanged is for me really paying for backgrounds that don't involve copyrighted stuff. So for other things. Oh, someone just posted it now. Okay, hang on just a second though. Someone says, what do I use? I am using a cheap, free, low quality, not very good program called Animator. Get to that later. No one's helping me with 3D animation right now. Looking for that later. Someone posted the thing that's the evidence for Invader Zim reboot that I am very skeptical of, but we will look at it right now. Now, what do I have? What do I have? Let's put newest first. There we go. Okay. Let's see what this says. Okay. First debuted. Oni Press teases Invader Zim comic. About the comic. This is about the comic. Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. I should have opened it up in my other window first. But yeah, this is about this is the comic. This is about the comic. That's more a question for Oni than for me. They're talking about Oni Press. This is about the comic, not a reboot of the show. Yeah, for sure. Go get the comics. They're amazing. Let me actually. There's nothing about a reboot. Oh, technically a reboot. Okay, I get what you're saying. In my mind, I'm thinking like, what the definition as in like a new animated series. But yeah, comic. Yeah, I have all the comics for sure. Yes. Yeah, I am subscribed to the comics. You guys should too. It supports Jonins and the other people who are writers, and it's awesome. I have not watched any show based on Invader Zim. I wouldn't know of any. I do know that I played Portal 2 with my brother, and I know the humor from that is kind of inspired by Zim, so I guess that kind of technically counts. But that's about all for me. Oh, someone asked, how different will action scenes be compared to the thing you just showed us? That's a question that we'll bring up later on because it has to do with how we're going to animate it. And I already told you guys that I can't do it quite like what you saw there, but we'll discuss that later. It's nothing to be scared or alarmed about. It's just a few questions about animation I wanted to talk with you guys, but that can be for later. So right here we have the 3D animation. How long did it take me to learn to work in 3D? Okay, longer than 2D. I've had this program since I was in elementary school. So it's probably been since 2005 or 2006. And yeah, I've been tinkering with it for that length of time. So about 10 years, 10 or 11 years, yeah. And I'm not even good at it. I'm going to be completely honest. It's basically, most people when they think of 3D animation, they think of rigging up models and bending and bones and all that. Not me. My stuff is literally just moving objects around and using tricks of the camera. And that's just, and again, part of it might be because this program, no offense, this is a, oh, excuse me. This is like the Microsoft Office Paint of 3D animation. And I know I see the frowny, I see you, you're saying it's a little outdated and that it's not good, but hang on. It's what I used for that shot of Earth, actually. Let me find it. That'll be a good example of what this engine's capable of. Let me see. Oh, it also did the sign. This is the sign in the opening of the Christmas animation that you saw, Invader Zim Earth. This is that. It's good enough for its purpose. Good enough for its purpose. What else do I have? Yeah, I use the text 3D too. Yeah, there. Fairly standard, not very fancy. When I put it all together, here, this is kind of neat. When I put it all together, I went ahead and I didn't want to make a whole video of the sign because it just needed frames. It's like in video games, the old Mario Brothers games and stuff, they use sprites. I did the same thing. I just made sprites of the holographic sign and just called it good. And I took turns hiding the text layers so that I rendered different images of this. But what I did was let me make it at an angle so it's easier to see for you guys. Oh yeah, I got to turn off the ground grid. I know it looks weird at first. Trust me, this will all make sense in a few seconds. Settings, scene, no. Settings, environment, get rid of the ground grid. Okay, so what I did for the sign, I just made basically a series of images that were not that great, but did the job. And as you can see here, it's not really the motion that mattered. I have these two lights. And let me see. Are they moving? One of them was supposed to move, I thought. Unless now it's been a while, and I've already driven it out of my mind. What I did was I was so lazy. Let me view the top. I manually, like, the camera was facing front, right? And so I rendered it, and I took turns moving the light a little bit, like boom, took a picture, boom, took a picture, boom, took a picture. So the light had 3 different moments. And for that, that's what that is. And of course, it was cell shaded, which is awesome. I love cell shading. Let me render an image of it. I think that one show everyone's into, RWBY. I'm not into it, but I know a lot of people are. And that's an example of cell shading for those of you who are uninformed. Oh, this is actually a bad example because I don't have the background fixed or anything. I don't have it all set up. Let me go to the planet Earth. That's a much better example. But anyway, cell shading is what I use that technique for. I thought Zim's 3D looked good at parts, bad at parts. It's just a mix. It looked great when they were doing ships and technology and stuff. And it looked bad when they were doing like that. Like in Planet Jackers when they did the 3D model of Zim. I think it all just depends. And then again, it's a matter of taste and preference. So let me see here. Invader Zim. Let me go to the one that rocks. And that's because you want to go to stuff that's actually cool looking. Scenes maybe? Earth? No, I want the program file itself. See, this is the problem. You got to be organized. This is me not being very organized. No. Oh, where was it? It was an animator file. I know that. Probably be under CG models. Locations. Earth. Maybe this is it. Yeah, I need to clean up. I need to clean up things. Okay, yeah, here it is. Here is the planet Earth model I did. And I love the low texture they have for Earth. I actually deliberately use that. I love the style they had for it. It's real cartoony. And so I made my own texture for it. It was not hard at all. Trust me, it was very, very easy to do this. I just took a map of the Earth, blurred it, and then sharpened the corners and stuff in a GIMP, which is just as good as Photoshop. And yeah, it came out awesome. So yeah, this is what I use for the model of Earth. Standard stuff. Object 2. This is kind of cool. This is Earth's clouds. As you notice, I had the oh, someone just asked this. I'm going to stop for a second and answer this. Do I hope the comic doesn't get an ongoing storyline? Yes, I like Invader Zim as episodic stuff that doesn't really tie in very much. That's personally my thing, but yeah. Now I'm going to talk about the clouds, because you might be looking at this and thinking, well, Stanley, there's something wrong. The clouds in the animation you did, they weren't a big sphere. They were kind of a, they had that you could see through them at parts and stuff. Here's what I did. If you look over here, I don't know how easy it is to see. I can't really zoom in on this. But I made what's called a transparency map. Now what that is where would it be? Here. What that is let me open it. I made this image for the clouds. And when I made a transparency map, it tells the computer, hey, anywhere it's black, you do not have anything show through. Anything that's white, just leave it solid. I made a wraparound cloud map for this. And so when I fed that through to the computer, and when it finally renders it, it doesn't show it in the preview because that saves processing power. But when I hit render image, and let's make it big enough for everyone to see, 1920 by 1080. Background, we'll make it black so the clouds stand out. Anti-alias for the best effect. Okay. So after that's applied, boom, transparent clouds. So yeah, that's how the clouds worked. And it's very important. It was super, super important that Earth and the clouds be on separate layers. That's super, super important because obviously they need to move separately. So let me view the camera. I used a whole bunch of different angles for this. But as you can see, I had Earth moving. And then for every shot, I just repositioned the camera and zoomed it in a little. For this one, I think was the opening one, maybe? Don't quote me on that. I think that's what it was. But anyways, excuse me, this was that. And you can't quite tell here. Maybe I'll just turn on a grid. Yeah, it's hard to see. I know that, but it's hard to see. But this outer thing, this, you see it's hard to see. There's 2 spheres. One is the Earth, the other is the clouds. The clouds are currently invisible because I haven't rendered them. But if you look, you'll see that the clouds are moving faster than the Earth. And so, yeah, that's what I have going on there. The clouds are moving faster than the Earth, And so that gives it a layered effect. And let me render a single image to show you what it looks like when it's all put together and done. Earth, clouds, parallaxing, all that jazz. Super cool. And obviously I added a light off to the side so that you could get a nice cell shaded shadow, which is a nice touch. But yeah, that's the CGI program I'm using. It's not the worst. It's just kind of there. It's good enough if it's simple things like this. If it's complicated things like giant space battles and stuff. But I'll work on that. I'll work on that when the time comes. The film is definitely going to include CGI. And a part of the reason I haven't really looked into animation or CGI for the movie right now is because I'm working on that short film. And the short film kind of takes priority. And I just now noticed Florida's gone. That's bye-bye, Florida. I just noticed Florida's completely missing. I might go in and update Earth's texture to be not so weird. But for the meantime, you get the idea. Oh yeah, someone mentioned this. This is important. Saw that I used a massive a few years ago. Do I plan on using it again? I paid for it, actually. I don't know if that was legal for them to sell it to me, but that's their problem, not mine. I paid for it on that one animation site. And let me pull it up. I do plan on using it for the non-space battle shots where I just basically have to take the massive and make it move across the screen, because that's easy. That is well within my capabilities. But let me see. CG models. I didn't make this. I downloaded it, and then I had to redo the textures myself because the textures didn't work out. Figure, but after the textures were easy to redo, I just copied and pasted and basically tweaked a little. But yeah, this is the massive that I did not make. This is the massive I downloaded and plan to use, and it looks ugly right in the back, but that's only because it's not rendered yet. When you render it, oh wait, that's a tiny image. Let me zoom in on it. Hang on. Render image. Bad in the back. There we go. Here we go. This is what I'm explaining, like the outline. I'll explain it after it's done rendering. It'll be easier for me to explain after this is done loading in. And when you first saw it, it was completely pitch black on the back part, and now it's actually has the textures and whatnot. The thing was, the outline I have, basically for the outline, oh, thank you, I'm glad it looks good. I chose a good model. What I did was I copied and pasted the massive itself. A copy of the massive I made, I applied a texture that was transparent on the outside and pitch black on the inside so that the camera's looking at it and you can only see the inside of the texture. Then I scaled it to be slightly bigger than the massive, and bingo, you have a cartoon-looking outline. And I didn't explain it. I did that for Earth too. I don't know where it is, but it's an easy enough thing to do because it's just a sphere. So yeah, that's what that is. And woo, massive, yay! Yeah, for the non-complex sequences, I plan on using this program because it does the job. And you know, if I was gonna buy like Maya or something super expensive just to do something simple, it'd be a waste of finances because number one, I'm not really a CGI guy. I'm more of a writer, director. I'll do animation if I have to, which is why I'm doing it now. But for simpler things, I'm just gonna do stuff like this, you know, on this program. One more thing I want to show you in the 3D. If you come right this way on the tour guide, that on the tour that isn't happening, Erkin. Look, oh no, it'd be under concept art. Yeah, I use this for the concept art. Don't know if it'll be the final thing. I hope it is, but you know, if it's not, that's no use crying over it. Planet Urk itself. Ha ha ha! Can't wait to load this in for you guys. I made up Urk. Oh wait, yeah. Let's see what this is. Sometimes it has glitches and errors. Okay. Surface. Yeah. See, this is an error that sometimes happens. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Let me see if render image. Yeah, it's here. Okay, it's just underneath the outline like last time with the massive. Planet Urk. I had so much fun doing this. I made up Urk from scratch. And I'm not finished with it yet. I'm still working with concept artists to do the toll ring around it. And we're going to work on that. But basically, the way I pictured Urk is like, first of all, no nature. No nature, no trees, no lakes, nothing. The way the Urkins work in the show, from what I've seen and from what's been described in unfinished episodes, Planet Urk is like the Death Star without a cannon. You know, it's basically a big metal ball in space with layers upon layers. It's nothing but city. I guess Coruscant would be a closer comparison if we're going to compare it to a Star Wars setting. But yeah, that's the way I pictured Urk, just real industrial, nothing but metal, and nothing. And of course, the Urkan Empire itself reflects that in that they're nothing but military and snacks. And yeah, that's about it. Why not have a cannon? Because I didn't write it in. I didn't want to write it in. I wanted to stick with something else. And then, of course, in the concept art, let me pull that up. Actually, this will be fun. I see TDM. Concept art. No, go back up. Yeah, it'd be under this. Yeah, I plan on having Urk have a toll ring, kind of like a toll booth, just because it struck me as something really petty. Like, okay, of course, yeah, they'd have a ring around it. Yeah, sure, for taking tolls, and you know, you could just fly over it if you felt like it. Let me go to the old one. There's a better location description here. Yeah, as you can see, I'm in desperate need of cleaning up everything. No, where is it? No, where is it? See this? This is me being unorganized. Ah, here we go! Yay, found it. Planet Urk. And some of you might have seen this on DeviantArt. I'm just showing it for those who haven't. I plan on having Urk have a toll ring, and this is all the thought that went into it and stuff. That was a rough model over here that I had. Here, let me zoom in on the rough model I had. This was just a mock-up to get an idea. Yeah, metallic, big toll ring, because why not? Lots of tubes. Urkans love their tubes, you know. They love their wires and tubes that are obnoxious and just for no reason. I love it. I love the idea of a traffic ring for security and toll collecting purposes that people could just fly over, but no one seems to do that. It might be like an unwritten rule of the Invader Zim universe, but I love it. And so, yeah, this is the type of stuff I went into for it. Design ideas. Told them to look at the Massive for reference because the Massive has a lot of cool Urkan aesthetics there. Really, really dig that stuff. Actually, and another piece of concept art that's even better. Here, this is the toll ring. You saw a close-up of this earlier. The cross-section. I kind of wanted to do more than just a tube, you know? Because tubes are nice, but they could just be straightforward and just a big circle. That could be boring. But I thought what would be neat is if the toll ring itself was like floating in sections that were funky shaped and stuff. Hence this cross-section up here. So this is kind of a look into what I'm looking for Planet Urk. Haven't done anything yet. Still have to do concept art. And, you know, concept art for the first scene first. Concept art's done, we can move on to storyboarding. When storyboarding's done, animation. And also probably in that time we'll be preparing CGI stuff. But yeah. So anyways, this is Urk. This is all the interesting background stuff. And yeah, kind of cool. Not really very cool, but kind of cool. So any other questions about the 3D CGI stuff from you guys? Any at all? I am willing to listen. No? Maybe. You guys don't have any questions. That's cool. I will just I'll just move on to other stuff and like that. Let me think. Where else could I go to? What else can we talk about? I want to really go in depth. We still have like a little bit left. Like what? Started at 6 for me. Started at 6 o'clock, so this is almost 8 o'clock. Half an hour left, maybe. How will I incorporate the 3D models into 2D animation? Very good question. I plan on rendering the 3D models. And oh hey, Paul Frey, if I need more models, you have quite a few that are taking up space on your hard drive. Please shoot them my way. I am desperate. My email is invaderzimtdm@gmail.com. Invaderzimtdm@gmail.com. And yeah, I would love it if you shot them my way. That would be awesome. How I plan on incorporating the 3D models into 2D animation. What I intend to do is what I tend to do is render the models separately on their own video. Render an alpha channel. And what that is, it's like the thing we did with the clouds, only entire video, that shot that we would do for CGI. And then through that, we'd be able to layer it into the animation as its own video. So something like that, yeah. Don't really have one, honestly. I didn't really, they're there. They're kind of neat settings, but I didn't really have a favorite planet, honestly. Just sort of there. I guess Earth, because it's where all the hilarious stuff happens, but yeah. Yeah. Want to show you what I've done so far? You're seeing it. Done so far. It's just concept art. I haven't done animation yet. No, I do. Correction. I do have audio, but I'm not going to share that. I do have audio from the voice actors and stuff that I'm still assembling and getting together. They've recorded all their lines, which is awesome. But yeah, I don't have anything done besides that. And concept art we're in the middle of doing. So yeah, we have about like what? I think I'm going to go for another 30 minutes, maybe. We'll see what happens. I'll just wing it. Okay. Well, since we're on the subject of animation, I would like to tell you guys something that I was saving for this live stream and that I really wanted to do. So yeah, here we go. Oh, how's the track assembling going? Awesome. I need to stop being lazy and actually focus on doing that. But yeah, it's going great. Oh wait, Paul says, so for animator, do you need 3D models in OBJ format? OBJ, if you could, that would be easiest. If you could do that. Even if the textures mess up, I can retexture it easily. I can work around with that. That's not a trouble for me. My problem is I'm not very good at 3D modeling beyond simple things. But yeah, if you could send it as an OBJ file, that would be awesome. Okay, and now time for what was I gonna do? Man, I forgot. Oh no! Important thing, big important thing, guys. Let me get it pulled up for you. Okay, so anyways, let me see here. I was gonna do something regarding IZT. Okay, yes, now I remember. Pulled up. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, that's it. Here we go. So this type of stuff. You might have seen it, you might not have seen it. The way I've been doing my own Invader Zim drawing is just for fun for the past few weeks now and stuff. Drawing. Now, I'm just going to show you. This is lovely. I'm going to show you this. And yeah, hang on. I love this one. But it requires more layers. There we go. Now there's a reason. There's a good reason I'm pulling this up, guys. Let me just. Okay, so as you all know, I've been talking about how IZTDM, I'm not wanting to spend another 10 or 5 years of my life doing IZTDM. I've already spent 5 years of my life working on it, and I have other projects I want to do, and I don't want to have this hang around me for the rest of my life. And so, here, let me zoom in. Let me get a better view. This is Zim's lovely teeth that I drew. I have other projects, other films that I want to get done. There you go. Hope you guys love that. And so I want to change the way I animate IZTDM. You remember the Christmas short that I did and the comic short. And hang on just a second. Let me hang on just a second. Hang on, I gotta type something. Sorry about that. So, anyways, what I was getting at is I can't animate it fully 2D. You know, like the Christmas short and the comic animated test and all that. I cannot do that for the entire movie because working on the fan film I'm doing for the Dragon Kiss, that short film, not fan film, short film. Working on that made me realize that. Working on that made me realize that I cannot do a full 2.5 hour or however long it's going to be animated movie by myself. And the way it's looking, I'm not going to be able to get an animation team together because that would require coordination and effort and being able to get everyone to sync up and do the same thing. And it's too much. It's too hectic for someone who's doing a non-paid thing. And that I couldn't, in good conscience, have people do animation for free. I can't do that in good conscience. I just can't. And on top of that, even if I did have volunteers, I run the risk of what happened to my concept art, which would be my concept art wound up being delayed and stuff. Oh, and for the record, I'm not making IZTDM a short film. I'm not going to do that. It's going to be full length. But the short film I am working on with the other person, with Ezra Moreno, the short film I am working on, I'm animating it, and that's making me realize how long and arduous it's going to be. Proposing to you guys, and this is the reason I brought this up, and I'm going to bring it up to later on in an official video, but the reason I want to get initial feedback, what I'm proposing to you guys is to make IZTDM sort of like an animated comic, not like what you saw that was fully animated, more like an animatic that's been polished and colored and looks really awesome, but still an animatic. Maybe with speech bubbles, maybe not. I'd have to do a deliberate test with that. But something like that. And if I did that, I would make it. I really want to make it in this style, guys. And as director, I could just override anyone and do that. And do you think this would look awesome as an animated style? I would really love to do that. I could take or leave speech bubbles. That's not a real thing. I could do tests with that, and we can see if that. But besides speech bubbles, even if we got rid of the speech bubbles, I would really love to do an animated, animatic type thing in this style. That's why I've been testing it and putting it out there for people for a while now, just to get an initial response. And I know they like it as fan art, but I don't know how well they would like it as an official thing. And of course, the only way to really test it would be to do a few tests. But I want to see initial reaction, guys. What do you think? What would you think if it was kind of an animatic-like thing, but done in this style to make up for the fact that it's not fully animated, sort of add more detail to the drawings themselves to sort of compensate? And also, that would actually, I would really love to do that to sort of pay homage to the comics. Give me feedback, guys. What do you think? And I would neglect the speed. I would do tests to make sure that we get it down to an art before we do it. And I could do it in the normal IZ style, but I'm not sure I want to do that. I'm not sure I'd want to do that because of lower animation. Sorry, I was trying to think. But again, I could do tests. You like it? You think it's a little too different? I could see where that would be an issue. But I really like the. And I didn't like the speech bubbles either, to be honest. I hated them. Not a huge fan with the way they turned out. I could try it again more deliberately with one with and without. But the more I think about it, the less I like them. But also, just to give you further ideas of how it would look, it's not just, it wouldn't just be stuff like that. Let me show you how the tallest would look, assuming that happened. And the only reason I say this is it gives a good idea. Or I forgot what I had this as. You'll have to excuse me. What did I have this as? Why is this up here? Oh, now I'm all confused. I could get rid of that. What the heck is? Oh, yeah, this was a stupid test. Forget that. That's a dumb test. This is not what I was trying to pull up. Let me pull up something else. How's this? I have to perfect it first of all. Oh, this is the thing I just pulled up. Never mind that. And it is very different, I'll grant you. It is very different from what you would be used to, so that's why I'm asking you first and getting feedback before I do anything else. Maybe it's this. See, I'm not very good. Let me see. And this is just chaos. This is what you're seeing here is chaos. You can't tell what the heck's going on. This is chaos. Get rid of this. Where's the tallest? I did the tallest, I thought. The tallest. Where's purple? Oh, there's purple. I like it. A lot of people might hate it. I love it. And I think it would be good because, oh yeah, like you said, like it would make an IZTDM stand out as its own thing, give it its own polish, kind of distinct, make it distinct. Well, a lot of people might not. I'm still not sure. I'm debating, but I wanted to pitch this to you first and foremost here. That's my phone. I'm sorry for my phone. Okay. I'm looking at the chat, guys, and I can see that you are saying you hate it. And I can see why. It's very different. It's not like what you're used to. But the comics are different, and people seem to like that. People like the way the comics look in the art form. And I guess the only true way to do it would be to compose a bunch of tests, throw it up in a video, and have a poll, which I plan on doing. Just getting initial feedback here. They are a bit too thin. I did that on purpose. I wanted to make them as skinny and twig-like as possible to sort of emulate the way Jonan does comics and stuff, kind of thin and twiggy. I love twiggy things. But neat, I guess neat is the only word that's appropriate. And this is cool for fan art, but for the full thing, I don't know. So, and not a huge fan of the roundness. Yeah, again, this would take some clarifying and tweaking. I don't like gas. Oh, no, not in the show. I mean this. I don't like gas in this. A wide poll is better than it. Yeah, just 15 people. Yep. Can't believe there's only, yeah. 15 people in here. Mini Moose, I love the most of the things I've done in this style. And if I did this, I would be doing it myself. And that's why I wouldn't worry about the model sheets, because I could refer to it myself and not have to worry about other people being confused. And this is all about tests and stuff. But even if I did, now let's throw this out the window and get rid of it. Gone. Test. I mean, even if I did it animated as like a polished sort of animatic, like an animatic that's completely good, then like an animatic that's been colorized, mouth movements matching, would you guys go for that? Would you think that would be all right? Even if it, and assuming it was in the actual style of the show, like really like the show, not with its own style, would you guys go for that? You think that would be acceptable, or what? I'm just waiting for a response, though. I'm not gonna talk until I get a response. And of course, this would all require a wider audience with more of a poll and stuff like that. I'm seeing a very positive sort of, and this is of course from 15 people, but I'm seeing sort of a positive vibe from that. That's good. Still poll for it. But the fact is, full 2D animation is out of the question at this point. And I wish it wasn't, but the way things are, the way my life's going with all the other stuff I have to do, not going to happen. And people can try and convince me it's just not going to happen. But besides that, there's always other options. And that's one of the things I wanted to throw out there. Maybe something funny is said you can add big text or subtitles for a comedic effect. That might be. It all depends on scenarios and stuff like that. Okay. Well, that's for another day then. I will have to dedicate time to, I think I agree with what Fizzy Soda just said. It would cut down on the animation a lot while keeping a great vibe to it. That's kind of what my main concern is. And I personally was worried that people would dislike it if it was just the regular show style without anything extra. And that's why I showed you my own style. But judging by the feedback I'm getting, it might not be the best, which is okay. The only way I'd know is if I threw it out there. And so, yeah, that's about it. I'll make a longer thing. I'll make a longer thing about that. And I will see if other people respond well to that. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So this will end. Let me look at the time. This will probably end about 15 minutes. This will probably end in about 15 minutes. We still got a little bit to go. And I have the feeling we're about to wrap up. It gets that. I have that kind of vibe going on, you know. But again, any other questions, guys? Any other questions at all? I'm open to them as long as they're on point and about this or Invader Zim or something. I would love to do a live stream of me animating too. I think that'd be really cool. For now, I plan on doing concept art, but I planned on drawing concept art while I was live streaming, but that was right out of the question. Maybe a future live stream could be just me animating without any commentary because I couldn't focus when I'm animating. But I can totally do that. That would be fun. Is Zim. Thank you, Paul. I really appreciate it, and I know that. Thank you for taking your to do that. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. And so, yeah, try to keep it on topic. Try to make it, you know, meaningful and questions and stuff when you're asking questions. I'm planning on making, I actually had the idea of doing weekly live streams, sort of like this, only much smaller, just to keep you guys informed, kind of keep you aware of where the project is. And then, of course, naturally enough, they would replace the vlogs I've been doing, and that would keep people up to date and stuff. Twiggy, way more Twiggy than doing the comics. Yeah, it would take refining if I were going to do that, and I'll keep that in mind when I do the tests. Do I think Mythers can destroy the Urkin Empire? If it was funny enough, it seems like Invader Zim's world operates on whatever's more funny. You know, like not necessarily physics or logic, but what's the funniest? Can it be so funny that this happens? So that's my answer to that. If it's funny enough, then it could happen. Hey, thank you, Fizzy Soda. I would appreciate that. I wouldn't need people to animate. I could just ask if people happen to have 3D models lying around, then I would totally be down for just sending them my way. I wouldn't even have them animate. They don't even have to make them for me. Just if they happen to have them, send them my way. I would love to be able to use more stuff. Currently airing animated series to work on, which would it be? I wouldn't know because I don't really pay attention. Yeah. You can send fan mail if you want. InvaderZimTDM@gmail.com. IZ the Doom Movie on deviantart.com, iztdm.tumblr.com, and Facebook. We have a Facebook page and Twitter. So yeah, any of those avenues is good for fan art. I might or might not respond. It just depends, but you're free to do that if you feel like it. Genio asks a very important question about what would happen if the Urgans took over the universe only to discover a multiverse. They would go straight for the multiverse. I do not doubt it. I mean, I'm not Jonan, so I don't know the true answer to that. But if it's there, it has to be conquered, especially if it's taller than them, because nothing's allowed to be taller than them, obviously. I'm talking from the tallest point of view, of course. But the Urgans themselves, yeah, conquer it. If it exists, conquer it. I do not have the spittle runner he made, and I'm sorry. Oh, that's bad news. Sorry to hear that. But yeah, I don't have it. I just have an image he sent me. And I'm only going to answer questions that are relevant to actual questions about the show or, you know, IZTDM. But yeah. So any other questions? I can show you. Yeah, let me pull that up. I'll pull up the image of the spittle runner if I can find it. Give me just a second. Yeah, not an image, a video test. Hang on. Yeah, it was really awesome. I loved it. Didn't get the model though, I don't think. Which tallest is better, red or purple? They're both equally despicable, and that makes them hilarious. Probably red for competence sake, but purple's funnier, so he has that going for him. Yes, and it is being recorded. It will be published on YouTube. No worries there. And I do plan on doing future live streams, so don't worry if you missed out on this one. I'll plan on doing more later on. Hey, Paul, thank you. I would appreciate that. That would be awesome if you could. I assume that might be one of the things you're sending my way. And if not, do send it my way. I would love to have just little virtual. basically, I look at it as the models, my CGI models. I basically look at it as like virtual toys to play with, because there's not a lot of animation for what I'm doing. It's more just moving things around and making them bump into each other and whatnot. But whatever works, right? What do I think of 10 Minutes to Doom? It's all right. It's a good, from what it sounds like, it's a good episode. I'm okay with it. I've read the script and listened to the audio. I think it's all right. It holds its own as a nice episode. No donations at all. I don't want any money. That's why that's why I don't set up a fundraiser, because I do not want, virtual stop motion. Exactly. Only less stop motion-y. That's why I don't set up a fundraiser. I don't want to get in trouble with anything. I don't want to run the risk of pushing the boundaries any more than I have by the fact that I'm just making an Invader Zim fan film. Do I like The Return of Keith? No, I didn't like Keith very much, and The Return of Keith, nah. Would I have wanted to see an episode of Zim and Dib body swapping? Yes, I would, if it was written funnily and not. But I couldn't see them doing it like a drama. So yeah, that would be hilarious. Will reboot Invader Zim if they think it's profitable and if they're doing it as like a test thing, because they would only do it. I think Invader Zim's like the thing they don't like that much, and so they would do it only as a test, like cannon fodder, just to test the waters. Some small risk, small reward, but just to see if people are into reboots. I do have a model of tax ship. It's not good. It's a rough thing. I plan on updating it later. Or if someone sends me it, I'll just use that. Key, did you like it? No. Body swap. Oh, hey, the comics. You have a question about the comics? Or just saying that in response to something else? She'll be in the movie. She won't be a big, giant main character, but she will pop in and out. Her ship will definitely be involved. I think there's supposed to be a body swapping in the comics sometime. That would be funny. I could see that as being funny. I'm surprised they haven't done it already, truth be told. Let me see here. It would be American ships. Rough thing. Trust me, it's rough. Yeah, I gotta reload a few textures. Yeah, it's rough. It's not finished. This isn't exactly what you're like. Oh yeah, this is totally it. But it's rough, so keep that in mind. Let me see here. I gotta reload. This is part of the organizational problems I have with me not being consistent with where I store things. Texture C. Yeah, I need to fix this. Loading in the models, loading in the textures for the rough model, that actually won't even be in the thing. Well, most recent comics was on body swapping. I might not have had that issue yet. I get them like in a delayed time. I don't get them the day they're released, so they might have that the day immediately they're released. It's kind of a delay for me. I have them shipped in, so I'm like 15 days late or something because it was the cheapest thing they had. I can't find the texture it's missing. Oh well, whatever. This is just a rough thing. Let me just show you it. Rough idea of it. And yeah, that's it. Character, any of your own characters' design will appear. Yeah, I hated designing characters, but I kind of had to, because to fill in the gaps and sort of make things work for the plot. There are a few characters that appear. Actually, hang on. One of them is a Mary Sue on purpose. Let me find her. Where is she? Concept art. And some of you will know who I'm talking about. Those of you worried about this character, I'm still looking for her. For those of you worried about her, don't worry. Everyone who's read the script has agreed that it's perfectly funny and it's not obnoxious. It's meant to be kind of, oh, that's kind of black, pitch black, bleeding in with the lines. Not good. Let me find it again. Hang on. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Yeah, here we go. No? Okay, I'll open it in GIMP. That'll work. Open with. Yeah, that'll be fine enough. Pulling it up right now. Pulling it up right now. Tax ship will not talk in it. This was before it could talk in the show. So that I have outdated information. And so no, tax ship will not talk in the in IZTDM. Just a machine. Okay, yeah. My least favorite character from Invader Zim is Gur. Exposure and the fact that he's overhyped. I really hate things that are overhyped, and so it's Gur. It's Gur. Yeah, I think there was a question I missed. Let me find it. I'll talk about this later. I'll talk about this character in a moment. I think there was a question I missed. Yes, I've always been bad at organization in the long run. I'm always good up front, and then it falls apart in the long run. Okay, so here we go. This is Smoots. She is a parody of Mary Sue, and to a lesser extent, self-inserts and OCs in general, but mostly Mary Sue's, because I channeled my dislike of her into this. I channeled my dislike of them into this. Smoots' purpose is, on the fan wiki, actually, I wonder if I can put links in. Hang on. Because I'm the person in charge of the chat. I wonder if I'm allowed to put links in. I am. I'll just link it to you guys so you can view it at your leisure. If not, I'll post it on like some other page of mine later on. Can I link in the comments? Yes. And also, I did live stream on the day Zim first aired on purpose. And if you look on that link I sent you, it takes you to the Yurkin Empire wiki, where I myself have contributed an article about her. Basically summed up every horrible thing about her. In all honesty, she does not play a big part in the movie. She's just kind of there to exist. I'm not going to comment on her name being only 3 meters long. There's been Invader Spunk, Invader Spleen, Purple, Red. I know they're not the official names. Not all Urkin names have to be 3 letters. So I figured Smoots was perfectly acceptable. It sounded funky enough, so I went with it. Smoots. Smoots is a Mary Sue parody. And I'm not going to name her Ebony Darkness Dementia Raven Way. That's too on the nose. I wanted it to actually blend in with the world enough. So Smoots' thing is, she's a defective. Logo I made up that's stamped on her forehead. Like, she was branded as defective because that's what she is, and sent to work as a snack slave. Her defect is she's obsessed. She gets obsessed with things in a romantic way. Like, I don't know. I didn't make a backstory for her because it's not important. But basically, she gets obsessed with things. And one day, while she was slaving away making snacks for the tallest in this factory that all defectives are shipped off to, she happened upon a TV broadcast of Zim wreaking havoc. And she was in love with Zim from that moment on. And of course, that's a defect because Urkins don't feel love. That's obviously a defect. So that's her defect. And she became obsessed with Zim from that point onward. One of the other defectives, seeing this, decided, hey, Havoc, and if I send this nut job to go get him, and she could because she's just that much obsessed, she would have the energy to go out and do that, bring him back here, maybe we can use him to help us bust out of here. So through a escape plan that was just mostly relying on guards' incompetence, Smoots was let loose. She hijacks the ship, makes a beeline for Earth, crash lands near Zim, and then Zim basically shoves her aside. Well, he finds her and basically imprisons her and interrogates her because he should be. And this is during the movie, by the way. And then basically trying to keep her in the background, out of the way. She like tags along with the group, but she's mostly in the background. She doesn't really take center stage ever. She's just in the background, basically fawning over Zim once in a while. Generally being a parody of all those horrible Mary Sues that there are. And in the end, she dies. And it's hilarious because she's like trapped in an implosion. And so she just dies. And it's hilarious because she's like, she has this high-pitched, whiny voice that my brother provided, which is perfect for her. And yeah, I love it. I can't do a perfect imitation, but it's something like this. It's something like,
Oh my goodness! Yay! I love you, Zim!
He does it much better than me, but that's kind of the idea. Sizzlor will not appear. He's one of the characters I had to cut out. He wouldn't quite be important to the story, and so I focused only on characters that would actually make a difference when Zim and Dib go to Earth, and I don't doubt people will ship them. It's creepy. The fandom's creepy. The fandom is something like, but yeah. This is Smoots, and she dies a horrible death, but it's funny. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be. It's not meant to be sad. It's meant to be hilarious. This is Zim slapped together a disguise for her, so she could blend in with him, because he didn't want to leave her alone at his base. He didn't trust her. He doesn't like the thought of her being alone with him at his base, but he has to go to school, so he's not missing. So he doesn't seem to be missing. So he slapped this on her to take her with her, and that might seem out of nowhere, but it's really, again, jab at all the Mary Sues that have a better disguise than Zim and stuff, and sort of become his love interest, even though Urkins don't really show love at all. But yeah, this is a jab at that, and yeah, that's her school disguise. Moving on, in one scene, she tries to get all fancy and stuff, so she looks romantic to Zim. Zim doesn't even take notice because he's too busy thinking about things that matter. But this is that. Oh yeah, yeah. So this is it. This is dress that's supposed to be all romantic and stuff. It's not. It's ugly. Pay attention, because here's the thing. Here's the thing, actually. I like the pilot episode, by the way. I thought it was hilarious. Here's the thing about Smoots. I didn't want her to be something that Zim hates, because if he did that, that would mean giving attention to him. Him giving attention to her. I do not ship them. That's hilarious. That's hideous, and I don't want to think of it. But I don't want Zim to hate her, because that would require giving attention to her. And giving attention to her is a problem. That's what makes Mary Sue's the most irritating, is the center of attention is always on them. So in her mind, Zim is thinking of her all the time. In reality, he's just only thinking of her when she's actually in his way. But other than that, he kind of keeps her off to the side and out of trouble, but nothing more than that. So yeah, that's why he mostly ignores her unless she's actually in a problem. That's why he mostly ignores her unless she's actually a problem. But for the most part, she's just off his radar, and that's the idea. And then over here we have her beat up, because in one scene she gets into like a bit of a scuffle, a one-sided fight, might I add. She just gets trashed. But it's not just her. Everyone gets trashed in that scene, like completely smashed and destroyed. And so this is her beat up. I had fun doing this. This was fun. I like drawing characters beat up in different styles and stuff. This was fun because I could get a lot creative with how it looks. But yeah, she gets beat up in the middle of a fight that the group gets into, and I had to draw a variant of her for that. So that's concept art there. Does she have more? Oh yeah, clown disguise. There's context for this, but I'm gonna leave it out because. Yeah, I'm going to leave it out. This is her clown disguise. I'm leaving it out. You can just dwell on that and think what in the world that is, but I'm leaving it out. Different expressions for the character right here. Yeah, had to do it, even though her default is kind of this stupid thing here, and she might not show all of these throughout the movie. I just had to get a good variety to make sure that it works out right. So, and I am happy to show you guys this. This is hilarious. I love doing this. And then, of course, same thing with her favorite expression of all, right here. I love it. So I think it's the fact that her lenses are kind of wall-eyed. It really sells a really derpy look. And you'll notice Zim covered up her defective brand with cardboard paper and duct tape. Slapped it on there. Wig, ponytails, and then just the stupid expression. I love it. I had so much fun doing this. So yeah, that's Smooth. That's an example of an OC I made for the sake of this. It's actually making fun of the fandom a little bit. Not in a malicious way, but what I am actually going out of my way to really mock are Mary Sue's. So that's the thing. She's sort of a kind of a jab at the fandom, but mostly at Mary Sue's. Zim takes her along with him because he doesn't trust her alone. And she sort of gets wrapped up in this. Yeah, she follows him. She's clingy, and Zim can't be bothered to really get rid of her because that would require giving her attention. So Zim can't be bothered to really get rid of her. He just sort of shoves her out of the way. point, once or twice, he does try actually coming up with a thing that would get her killed or at least destroyed or sent away. He's really annoying him at one or two points. I can't remember what. But for the most part, he just doesn't pay attention because that would, again, I'll say this only one more time because I'm repetitive. That would require giving her attention, and I don't want the character to be put in a spotlight at all. That is Smoots, and I'm proud of how annoying she is. I do have a few others. Let me ask: Are you guys interested in seeing a few other characters I made up for this, or are you kind of wanting the live stream to wind down to a close? Let me know. Let me know. I can go on, and there's 2 other characters I made for this that are important. The rest are just background characters and extras and whatnot. They're not really matter, but there's 2 others that actually do involve themselves in the plot a little to move things along. So if you guys are interested in that, just comment, and I would love to showcase it real quick. Oh, I will do her voice real quick. Actually, I can do better. I can send you a few of her lines that my brother actually recorded real quick. I'll show it to you guys. Oh, this will be fun. Sequences. Okay, I'm going to do an earlier on sequence because I don't want to spoil anything. It is audio from an earlier sequence, and here are a few of the lines right here. And trust me, it's obnoxious. Are you guys ready? Are you ready for this loud noise? And yes, she is voiced by a boy because I was talking with my brother one day, and he gave this annoying voice that I thought would be perfect for her character. So I asked him if he wanted to do it because it was hilarious. And he's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, awesome. So we went ahead and I used my brother. My brother recorded it. I'm super proud of what he did. So anyways, you guys ready for this? It's loud. Trust me, it's loud. There were a few voice actors not in the questioning. Like anyone who was not an official canon character, I didn't do in the questioning. Okay. 3, 2, 1. That's one of the lines. I had it on loop for some reason. I'm going to get rid of the loop so it doesn't do that. I'm going to play more lines. Don't worry. That was her saying Zimmy. That's sort of what she calls Zim. Okay, here's another line. Here's another line. Here's that line again. It's annoying. Okay, here's another line. It's creepy. A few of these lines are really creepy because she's trying to be romantic and stuff, but she comes off disturbing, and that's the idea.
Anything for you, Zimmy.
Understand her in that. That was just supposed to be like super fast talking. This is her saying anything for you, Zinny.
Anything for you, Zimmy.
So yeah, very standard. She is definitely Mary Sue through and through. Here's one where she says, "Oh, nothing. It's just that I would do anything for you, Zinny Pie." Actually, I could here. Let me make it easier for you to read. On this. Here is the line you're about to hear. Here we go.
Nothing. It's just that I would do anything for you, Zimmy Pie.
Really creepy. Really disturbing. And I think my favorite part of it is "oh, nothing." That's my favorite part about that line. I'll just play that part real quick. It's my favorite.
Nothing.
I love it. She's just this horrible little thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me do a few more. Oh, one more actually. Okay, this line is So they're just giving context. This is in response to Zim casually mentioning something about having to go to school or something. Smoot's horror game. Yeah, that would be perfect for Halloween. It would be terrifying. I would just do Slender. I would just make a Slender or FNAF clone, and it would just be Smoots. Okay, here. This is her saying, "What's school?" Like, what is school?
What's school?
I'll play it again.
What's school?
I'm just sorry. I am just tickled to death by what he did here. Oh yeah, and then Zim tases her in response to seeing her so startlingly close to him. He has her tased, and so this is the sound of that. Yep, this is her getting tased. One more time, just for fun. It does sound a little like Gurr through this because it's not a good quality because I'm just playing the microphone up to my speaker. But trust me, she does sound very different in high quality when you're actually here listening. Gurr is really robotic and has a more of a smoother texture to his voice. She has a jagged, disgusting, hideous, vomit-inducing texture. So yeah, there's your sneak preview of who you can expect in here for one of the characters. That's Smoots. She's horrible. She's just absolutely horrible. And I love the fact that she's horrible. Okay, so someone mentioned, you guys mentioned you seemed okay with me looking at other characters that I made. And so I will do that gladly. I am so happy to do that. Merp. Merp is actually a created character, an OC, if you will, that I'm actually happy that I'm actually proud of her design. She's not meant to be making fun of anything. Well, she is, but nothing in her fandom. Nothing in the fandom. I can't say anything that I haven't said about the short film already. You would have to go to Youch Films homepage. Actually, I'm going to link it in the comments, and you'll probably get the link before I even you hear me saying this because of the lag. But here, let me do that real quick, and then I'll keep going. And I'm going to talk about more characters that I made up, just 2 of them, counting this one. So there's the link to that other channel, the short film I'm helping with. You can check that out. Yeah, I'm doing it. Okay, so Merp. This is Merp. Here, I do have a page for her on the fan wiki. I loved doing this. Her defect is not her missing legs. Because the Urkins can do that as a defect, but not really because that's sort of taken care of. You see, she has the spider legs. She's missing her legs. That's not a defect because that's been taken care of. Her defect, because you can see the symbol here, she's a defective. She's been labeled as a snack slave. She's obsessed with revolution. She's never satisfied with the status quo. And you can see how in the Urkin Empire, you know, being the strict totalitarian dictatorship they are, that's definitely a no-go. But even if it wasn't, even if she overthrew the Urkins and made them a democracy, in a few years she'd just be upset with that and try to overthrow that and overthrow that and overthrow that. She's obsessed with revolution for the sake of revolution, and it's a problem to the extent that she often stops in the middle of what she's doing to give a heroic speech about something. And it's really, really, it's funny. And yeah, this is Merp. That's her defect. She's the one who sends Smoots off to get Zim. She's the one who instigates this whole thing. Urkin democracy, never going to happen. But even if it did happen, she would be unsatisfied and go for a revolution anyways, because that's just her character. Yeah, and I can't do it. I found someone who did a good fake, deliberately kind of not good, Scottish. It's not a Hamilton reference. I didn't watch Hamilton, not a huge fan. But it's a reference to William Wallace type stuff. She does a heroic speech. She often stops and does heroic speeches. Kind of a take that. No, not a take that. It's like a reference to William Wallace, the historical character, and to a lesser extent, Braveheart. And that's partially because I actually have ancestry from Scotland. And so growing up, I talked to my dad about that a lot. And we're not Scottish, okay? We were born here, but we have ancestry tracing back. That's the situation. And so I know I was talked about I talked to my dad a lot about Scotland and stuff. And then, of course, naturally, the speak of the quote-unquote the heroic Scottish rising up against the English back in medieval times. Sort of got this picture in my head of someone who's obsessed with the revolution for revolution's sake. And so here she is. She has a terrible Scottish accent, like absolutely fake, horrible sounding, but that's her accent. So Daphne Martin provides her voice. She's really funny. It came out hilarious. I'm not going to share the lines with you right here, because it still needs polishing in terms of audio cleanup. But she sort of talks like this, only it's really bad. It's not good. And what I did there wasn't good, but it's not a good Scottish accent. And I knew I couldn't pull off a good Scottish accent, so that's why she's a comedic character. So she sort of talks like this, and it's not very good. Yeah, and she's, yeah. Okay, I'll see if I can play one line. One line, guys. You guys want to hear one line? Just one. Just one. You guys okay with that? Okay. Let me see here. One line. I'm just going to do one. Don't want to spoil things. And it's not really cleaned up, so, there's that playing into it. Where do we have her listed? She's somewhere in my files. Okay. Now, it fluctuates between, I do hear it. I do hear people's demand. So I'm getting it pulled up. Now, keep in mind, the accent it's not good. It's bad on purpose. It sort of fluctuates between Scottish and American English. And it's really a quirky thing, but I like it. So here we go. Here's some of her lines from the first sequence she's in.
I'm sick of it, They look us up here like slaves, like stupid snack slaves. I'm sick of it, They look us up here like slaves, like stupid snack slaves.
There you go. That's the samples I'm giving to you. And yeah, it's not polished, and I haven't chosen what takes I like the most, so I can't really give you an idea. That's basically it. That's Mert. There she is, and there is her. And yeah, there's some funny moments. I'll say that. She's not really a main character. She's more of a minor or extra side character, and she sort of moves the plot along. Like, okay, when Zim and them arrive, she sort of gives the rundown on why she sent Smoots and stuff, sort of to fill the audience in on info. That's her purpose. But also, of course, comedy. Comedy is a great purpose. So there we go. There's Merp. And the last one, my favorite design physically. And some of you might know who I'm about to show, but for those of you who don't, I am a huge fan of how I did this. And I voiced this guy. He is, where can I find it? Where can I find it? Where did I even put it? I might not have it yet. I bet some of you know who I'm talking about. It is possible to fix the audio. It's cleaning up, adjusting bass and treble and all that, and doing oh, wait. Before I go on to the person I'm going to do, and yeah, I can fix the audio. Before I go on to the person I'm going to do, a few bonus ones that I just realized existed. I like these guys. Oh, I'm going overboard, but I don't care. These guys. These are the two idiot Irken guards responsible for allowing Smoots to escape. Here we go. Bob and Larry. No points for guessing the reference there. Bob and Larry, they're the two Irken guards. I voiced both of them, and they're the idiots responsible for letting Smoots escape. They were standing guard at the time, and they sort of just let her run past them before it took them a few seconds to realize that happened. Now, in every movie, I find it funny that the bad guy has like these two minions that are like bumbling idiots. They serve this purpose. They don't really serve a story purpose. They serve comedy purposes. They show up once in a while for the sake of horrible things happening to them, and then they get beat up or something, sent out of the scene. They come back later. They get beat up, sent out of the scene. It's just a funny thing, and it's not meant to be serious. It's meant to be like these joke characters. So here we go, and here the stages of being beat up. I didn't draw the concept art, by the way. Someone else provided that. Where is it? Where is it? Do they have? I thought they signed their name. They signed their name. They should have. No, I forgot the name. But they provided this concept art. I'm super, super proud of what they did. And I went through a few layers. Two people. One person did the rough concept art. I think it's. I forgot her name. Dang it. I'll do a whole video crediting concept artists later on. But yeah, one person did the rough concept art after I explained what I was looking for. Then another did the final concept art. And I love this. Excuse me. Now, these aren't Zim's minions. I like to clarify. These are the minions of the main bad guy. And I know that's contradictory because Invader Zim has more bad guys than good guys. Zim's a bad guy. The Tallest are bad guys. Lardnar is a bad guy. Or not Lardnar, Sizzlor. Tack is a bad guy. And they all have their own motives and agendas, but it's funny. But yeah, this is the main villain. The main villain's not really two evil minions. They don't work for him directly. They work for the Irkin government. So by extension, they're two bad guys. They don't ever actually get direct orders. Yeah, I can give you their voices right here. This is Larry. He kind of sounds like this. Larry, the tall one, he kind of sounds like this. And actually, you know what? I shouldn't do that. I should just pull up voice clips. That'd be much better because I'm a little out of practice. And I've been talking for a while, so my voice is a little bit, my throat hurts a little bit. Let me go to audio by character. Or no, by sequence, wouldn't it? Let me think. Yeah, okay. Larry, no, I didn't do them yet. Dang it, I'm so horrible at this. See, this is the problem. Okay, Larry. This guy, you're looking at him right now. Here is his voice.
Escaped prisoner? Escaped prisoner! Oh, we don't. We won't! We're done for, you idiots! Done! Toast! Dead! We are dead!
That's him freaking out when he realized just what happened. So there's his voice. Yeah, that's his. And now, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Now, Bob's voice. Okay, here we go. Let me see here. Does this count on a crossover? Not really. No, it's more of a handy little shout out. But they're not actually alternate universe versions of a cucumber and a tomato. They are their own things. Just happen to be named that as a subtle shout out. And they're never named in the movie. So I can get away with that. They're not actually named. No one ever says, "Hey Bob, hey Larry, come over here." It's always "you two" or "you two guards" or anything like that. So Bob, here's Bob's voice. Let me scroll over to him. He's the short guy. Here's Bob. And here's his voice.
Huh? Oh! Escape prisoner! Oh! Cheat! But we don't have hyperdrive. So how are we gonna catch her? Oh! But I'm not good at being dead.
Those lines don't have context right now. I'm not gonna show you, but yeah, that's it. He has kind of a deep voice like Patrick Star. Only not Patrick Star, obviously. He's an American. That's kind of the inspiration I drew from, though, was Patrick. Yeah, and I can see the resemblance to Membrane. In high quality, high definition, they kind of just don't sound the same, but that's kind of the gist of it. And yeah, these two are just comedic relief. Nothing serious. And again, nothing in this movie is really taken seriously. Even the most dramatic moments are just goofy and stuff. I should have ended 15 minutes ago, but I didn't. So if you need to leave, feel free. You don't have to stay. This will be available for watching on YouTube. I think I'm going to wrap up after I'm done introducing a few characters and then call it good there, because otherwise I'll talk for hours and hours. So if you need to go somewhere, that's perfectly fine, and you can just come to this point later on and kind of skip to it. Like I said, I'll be posting this on YouTube, so you're free to do that, and I will be posting this. But yeah, I know there's another live stream that some people are doing. I think it's Zimbacills on Tumblr. Yeah, they're going to be doing a live stream too later on in honor of Invader Zim's anniversary. And I think that'll be at 8 o'clock PST. And so I think that would be in like an hour. Yeah, I'm not going to be going on for an hour. But yeah, so there's that. If you guys wanted to catch that too, I'll be ending this one, and then that'll be starting, I believe. I might or might not join. It'll depend on what I do, because I've just been live streaming, so I might be too exhausted to participate in comments or anything. Okay, so what else do I have? There was another. Did that. There's a few others but like I said, they're minor characters. Let me go back this way. Haven't seen that on YouTube. I'll check it out sometime, though. Sorry. Where are they? Characters. Here we go. Here we go. The big bad guy, the main villain, the master control brain. I know what you're thinking. I thought we already saw the control brains in the show. Yes, you saw the control brains. I could see it possible. Not the same, but I mean, not really, but possible that there's a master control brain, one that like sort of is the big leader of the Urkin Empire behind the scenes. You know, there's control brains. I figured a master control brain isn't too far of a stretch. So that's what this is. This is the master control brain. I made it up for the show. This is the main villain. And if you want, there's a scale reference down here. There's the tallest and Zim. And is the Urkin with a very large head a defective? You'll have to tell me what that is. No, this is not 2001. This is the character concept art serial number. Character, it has a speaking part. It starts in sequence 8. It's the first character to appear in sequence 8. That's my coding for the concept art. That's not a date. It was made in like whenever I started IZTDM. Yeah, it does look a little like GLaDOS. It's hard to avoid that with giant robotic monsters. And I will provide a voice. I voiced this myself. And I did post a link to the voice on I posted the voice of it. Actually, you know what? That'll save me time. I'm gonna look it up on my actual YouTube channel. No. Wait, I won't do that because it has music in the background. And if I do that while trying to play it through to my microphone, it might come out sounding bad. I'll just do the voice from my computer regularly. Hang on just a second. Okay. Kind of inspired by, not really inspired by GLaDOS, actually. This was before I even knew about Portal. So not really, but coincidentally, yeah. Okay, here we go. This is the Master Control Brain's first lines. Here we go.
You two have disappointed me. I gave you direct orders to head immediately to Urk. You are not authorized to stop anywhere on your way back here.
There's a little preview. Big, booming, bassy, and scary. I plan on animating it however possible. I plan on doing it with CGI, but not with a rig up. More with several objects attached to each other to save me time. And if that won't work, then I'll just do it like traditional 2D animation. And since we're doing an animatic, that'll save me even more. I'll just draw it in specific poses. Yeah. Now, the reason this character is so big and intimidating and serious is because imagine, if you will, you take Darth Vader and plop him in the world of Invader Zim. That's basically this. He doesn't realize just how ridiculous everything around him is. That's the thing. It's like Smoots on a opposite scale, where Smoot is like a, yeah, it gives a whole new meaning to Big Brother. Yes. Where Smoots is like a detective who sees Zim as loving her. This guy in his head sees everyone as fearing him. He's this big, scary force. And to be fair, the tallest do fear him. But the problem is he doesn't realize, I guess I can't really describe it. You'll see it in the actual show, in the actual movie, but he doesn't realize how non-serious this is. Like, he's super serious and dramatic and everything. And that's where the humor comes from, because he doesn't do anything funny. It's just like, if you can imagine Batman gardening, okay? Like, that's hilarious because it's a super serious character doing something so weird. Here we have a super serious character showing up in something that has no purpose being serious at all. And yeah, that's kind of the humor. His beef with Zim is the fact that Zim's a defective and is heading to Urk when he was banished to Earth. That's his beef with Zim, seriously. This guy, you can't really call him evil because he's just a, well, let me back up. I shouldn't be calling him he, I should be calling it, because it's more of a robot. It's not really, doesn't really have a soul or anything. It's kind of there. It's like a pre-programmed machine. And so it, a scary machine that just enforces the rules of Urk. It doesn't have any real qualms with him besides being a defective. And it's programmed to actually have a bit of a hatred of defectives because that's a preservation mechanism. If it hates defectives, that's good for the Empire because defectives cause problems within the Empire. So it does actually have hatred for defectives, but it's more of a big robot personality beyond just existing to enforce rules. And so, and yeah, he is blindsided by just how much of a walking Murphy's Law Zim is. You know, everything goes wrong around Zim. This guy is not prepared for that, and that's all I'm going to say on that matter. As you would expect, and it's a serious, deep, scary tone. But yeah, this guy, favorite character design personally. I loved it. Love doing the visual aesthetics on this. And can you guys spot the little Easter egg in the design here? I'll give you a little bit. And actually, this is not the judge control brains. The way this worked is during the show itself, they were going to redesign the control brains, but never got around to it. But for the trial, they were going to have a new design, which I'll show you later. And so I decided that to fit that in with headcanon, I could make it so that the control brains themselves are normally spherical and stuff, but the control brains are that triangular shape that I'll pull up in a minute. Okay, I've given you guys enough time to guess the reference. Let me zoom in on it. Does this right here look familiar to anybody? Okay, it is, if I can find it. Yep, the intro title. That's my little shout out. There it is. It's the opening title for Invader Zim. I copied the design exactly for his little computer screen there. Oh, yeah, hang on, let me paste that. There's my email address. Yes, it was his face all along. Just a nice little shout out. It's nothing important or mind blowing or plot related. Just a little Easter egg that I think would be kind of fun. Fun doing that. And of course, in the middle of this will be the Master Control Brains logo just spinning around constantly. And so that's what that is. The little Easter egg I did that I love the most about his design. Apart from like this Frankenstein stitch work going on here, I really dig. You know, the Urkins like their little pattern they have. I like that. But yeah, that's my favorite part of the design, honestly, is the little sign logo. I have fun with that. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like that. Let me think. I don't know if there's any other characters that are really worth mentioning. Let me think. Oh yeah. I was going to go to the judge control brains. Hang on, let me find them. Concept art. And this is okay. So and this was not done by me. This was done by someone else based off of the artwork that was already done for the show. It is possible to destroy it, but I'm not going to say how. Face on the screen. That would be funny. There's going to be tons of little Easter eggs wherever I can cram them. Not to the point of taking over, but if you're looking for them, you'll find them in basically every scene. At least one per scene, I'll put it that way. Okay, yeah. Judge Control Brains. Let me tell you guys a little story for those of you who are unaware. During the show's production, they were going to come up with an episode called The Trial. And during that episode, was going to be put up for existence evaluation, which is something all Urkins go through. And that he was basically going to be judged by these guys and determine whether he's fit to live or not because of how much of a nuisance he is. And so that never got officially canonized because it was never finished. So I'm like, okay, how can I work this into IZTDM? Because like I said, the trial was a huge influence. IZTDM deals a lot with defectives and stuff. So yeah, this is actually based off the actual designs that, hang on. Let me pull it up. Let me see if I can find it. It should be here somewhere. I know I've seen it before because that's where I got the reference. It's just hard to find. Okay, here, found it. Copy and paste. Yeah, you don't know. I'm on the other screen doing this. This is the actual artwork from the actual show's creators. No, I read the script. Existence evaluations for every Irkin. The tallest bumped Zim's up because they wanted to get rid of him as fast as possible. In the original script, that's what it was. But I kind of tweaked things around a bit. So these guys right here, they were done for the actual show, and originally they were just going to redo the control brains and make all control brains look like this, you know, because in the original episode of TAC and in a few like what was it? Hang on. In the Fry Cook What Came from All That Space, you have flashbacks to other control brains and stuff. And let me pull it up here. This is what the control brains, oops. This is what they originally looked like, right here. And so in the middle of, oh, thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. That's awesome. I'll look into that after I'm done with the live stream. So here we have the control brains that were originally in the show. And so they were going to redesign them completely. They were going to change it so that all control brains now look like this. But that never happened, obviously, because the show was canceled before they could implement that. Okay, how can I fit this into IZTDM? Going off the assumption that everything in the show is canon, everything that was planned is just sort of suggestions, you know? So I decided, okay, instead of having an entire planet dedicated to Judgment, the Spike of Judgment, I decided this could be put on planet Urk. The Spike of Judgment could be put on planet Urk itself. Now these guys are new. These are no longer just generic control brains. These are like specialized control brains designed for the purpose of judging Irkins. Hey, thanks, Paul. See you later. Thank you for stopping by and sending me that. These are for judging Irkins that are deemed defective or suspected of being defective. And so the way I've recanonized it is not all Irkins are put up for existence evaluation in IZTDM's interpretation. In my interpretation of it, Irkins are put up for existence evaluation if they're suspected of being defective. And it's not a giant thing with a huge crowd. It's just a private thing with these guys in a big, scary, empty room. And then these guys judge whether an Irkin's defective or not. And if they're determined defective, they'll then decide if, I'm going to make a finished version of the entire thing eventually. But anyways, these guys are determine whether or not an Irkin's defective. And if so, how defective? Are the Irkins so defective that they can't be useful, or can they still be used in a snack slave capacity? So if you're determined too defective to be of use, they'll just have you terminated. That's it. But if they can get use out of you, they will, because Irkins are all about, you know, strategic stuff and not wasting resources. If you're determined defective by them, they will go ahead and send you off to be snack slaves. And that's their new role in this. And so actually the very first scene in the movie involves these guys. I won't say any more than that. But the first scene involves these guys. And so that's my interpretation of the redesign. Now there's regular control brains. There's these guys for the judgment process. And there's a master control brain that sort of spearheads everything. Okay, that's everything I want to talk about in terms of character. And I think I'll do one more Q&A thing, and then we got to wrap it up. We got to. That's just how it is. So anyone with further Q&As, Fizzy Soda, I think I answered yours, but if I didn't, I am going to make a finished version of the first scene's animatic. I'm going to make a finished version of everything. Yeah, of course. The Irkins never had freedom in the first place. I don't know if it's willing or not. Doesn't really matter. But in my interpretation, the Irkins willingly became basically cybernetic robot monstrosities. So any questions before we wrap up? Any at all? I mean, I'm willing to answer any Invader Zim or IZTDM related stuff. I'll avoid spoilers, of course, and I'll let you know if that veers into spoiler territory and I won't answer it. But other than that, I'm willing to answer things. No, I won't do art trades because that would detract from time I could spend on official artwork. So sorry about that, but nah, that's not really my thing. Zim kind of has freedom just because no one likes him, and they send him far away. And I also like the fact that Zim causing destruction is kind of implies that as totalitarian and strict as the Irkins are, they're also incompetent. I like that sort of hint at that. I like that. I'll keep Zim's backstory untouched because it doesn't come into play, you know? Invader Zim's backstory doesn't involve, and the Urgan Empire's backstory as a whole is too vague to be considered canon. Like, I know there are a few rumors floating around the base, the fandom, that they were taken over by machines and stuff, but that's never canonized. That was just, you know, brainstorming, throw out ideas at the wall stuff. For all we know, the Urkans willingly became these horrible cybernetic monsters. But anyways, so Zim's backstory and the backstory of Urkans as a whole does not come into play. Hi guys, I see a lot of people coming in right now, and that's unfortunate because the live stream started at 6 o'clock CST, and I thought I gave the right time. Well, I think I did for PST. Oh, quick question about Tack. Is she going to be in this? What kind of role will she have? She will be in this. She'll pop in and out of it at critical moments. That's all I'm going to say. Will there be references to the show? Yes, definitely, because it's taking place in the world of the show. And the canceled episodes. Yes, there are a few references to the canceled episodes. Mostly the trial, because I kind of use that as like a backbone for where I went with this movie, the movie's theme. Every movie needs to have a theme. That doesn't necessarily mean it has to be extravagant or good or anything. It just has to be a theme. So the theme for IZTDM is Zim is a defective. Defectives and stuff. That's the theme of IZTDM. And it's not handled in a dramatic, tear-jerking way. It's handled in a hilarious way. So yeah, references to the canceled episode, mostly the trial. The tallest aren't really the tallest, and it just suits making them tall. I've heard that. That's a funny interpretation. I don't know. My headcanon has always been that the tallest are, you know, basically of a certain type of Urkans. Because even if you look in the concept art for the trial, they had a distinctly different body type even at a young age when they were Zim's age in the concept art for the trial. So it's my assumption that tallists are really selected from Urkans of a certain body type that have this long, spindly, wasp-like body type, kind of like queens of a hive. And then the tallest one of those are selected to be the tallest. But that's just been my headcanon. I don't really know, and I wouldn't pretend to know. Will the comics come into play? Unfortunately, not very, other than a small shout-out here or there, because I wrote the script before the comics were even a thing. See you, Novi. Thank you for joining us. I wrote the script before comics were even a thing. And so, no, beyond maybe a few shout-outs I can work in here or there. My favorite part of Zim is how every episode is a catastrophe. Every episode leads up to, like, everyone has their own agenda, right? You have, like, maybe 4 or 5 different parties at play. Dib, the tallest, the resisty. The best example is the backseat drivers from Beyond the Stars. My favorite thing about Invader Zim is you have all these characters out to meet their own goals. And as the episode or story progresses, by Invader Side, as the episode or story progresses, you see it all starting to come together to basically a train wreck. And then it ends in glorious disaster and everyone loses. And that's how IZTDM is. All sorts of... I'm sorry to hear that, Amber, but I can't help you there. I can't really give you a DeviantArt account or anything. It's just something you have to sort out. I'm sorry. What if the tallest are defects? What if? I wouldn't know that. I don't think they are. I think they would have been caught way before that and terminated or something. Is there another version of the trial? I don't know. I don't think there is. Sorry to hear that. I don't think there is, actually. Do you think the Urkans were naturally bent on conquest, or before an imperial country conquered Urk and made it that way? I think that the Urkans willingly submitted themselves to their own technology and became this way in order to basically be like this. I think the Urkans deliberately became monstrous because they had a bent to be sociopaths anyways. And I think that the Urkans are basically like bugs, like swarming insects, like locusts. They don't really have morality or ethics. And I think they deliberately made themselves cybernetic and monstrous so they could conquer better. That's my interpretation anyways. And I don't like the idea of the Urkans having a sweet, innocent backstory where they were victimized. I don't like that. I like the idea of the Urkans basically being bugs without remorse and being these horrible little things. I do think the fandom is starting to grow thanks to the comics. I do think that. Do you think Dib ever would have had good terms with them? Not a chance. Not a snowball's chance. I don't think that would ever happen. I think the series would end with either Zim or Dib winning, or more likely both of them losing. I can't see Dib liking Zim or even having good terms with him. I just don't see it. Like the joke about Jonan saying Zim would become Earth's attorney and stuff, that was obviously a joke because it was after the show was canceled, and he said it referred to the original Daredevil, which was made after the show was canceled. So that was obviously a joke, and I don't think that they would ever end on good terms. I didn't listen to the InvaderCon version. I read the script. Do you think there was an organic version of the pack at one point? Ew, that's gross. I like it. Probably. I bet. They'd have to have a prototype, wouldn't they? Maybe. Tin and Scooch do show up. They have bit parts. They're like extras because I couldn't really cram them into critical moments. But they do pop up here and there, so be on the lookout. They'll be there once or twice. Will this movie be an ending to the series? It was originally going to be. See, when I first wrote the script, this was before the comics came about. And so the script was written kind of to cap off the series and give it a big finale that it deserved. And once the comics came out, we were too far into production to change that, so we're sticking with it. Will Merv die too? Can't say. Do you think she could get along with Lardnar? Maybe for a split second. Bye, Invader Psy. Maybe she'd get along for a split second. But I can't say whether she would die or not, and I can't say other things. But maybe she would get along with Lardnar for a split second before he realized how much of a nuisance she is. I don't plan on doing IZ stuff post-movie release. I don't plan to do that right now. No. You cannot voice act. We have all the parts taken, and we're not doing auditions anymore. And they've all been recorded. So sorry, but you kind of missed that train. What will you do if Zim comes back before you finish the film? Shoot myself. No, I'm kidding. I would be upset. I would be very mad. I would be angry. And I would consult my voice actors and see what their thoughts are. Consult everyone who's working on it and see how we plan on releasing it. But yeah, honestly, that's my reaction. That's how it would be. I don't think it will come back, though. I think it'll just be sticking with comics for the most part. Yeah, I think the comics, I'm going to treat it like the comics are a separate universe. I'm really going to treat it like the comics are parallel universes and that they sort of have their own thing going on, besides a little shout out to them here or there. So that's sort of what I would go. I don't see it as a good thing. I'm too selfish. I'm too invested in IZTDM at this point. Sorry, guys. If you guys want it to be rebooted, that's fine, but that wouldn't be my thing. I don't see it happening, though, and I'm not saying that just for hope or anything. I honestly don't see that happening because of Nickelodeon and their, Invader Zim's sort of like the redheaded stepchild of it. The Resisti will show up. They sort of come in the last half of the movie. They sort of make an appearance, and they do play an important role. And I won't say anything more than that. In fact, anyone who wants to read the whole script can. I just don't want to spoil it in the live stream, So if you're curious, you can go to the script. In fact, I can pull it up I can send you the link right now. It's quite a big read, but you can read it if you want. Hang on, let me send it. I removed my first trailer. Everyone asks this. I put a link in the description. I removed the first trailer because Com flagged it automatically. They didn't do it on purpose. Their robots did. Bye, Amber. They flagged it because it had clips from the show in it. And so that's why I removed it, just so I wouldn't deal with any problems. Theme song of the movie will be released. The soundtrack will be released. Yeah. Excuse me. So yeah, that's what I plan with that. And IZ shippings, I hate them all. People can do it if they want. I'm not going to go out of my way to hate on them. I just don't comment when I see the fan art and stuff. Actually, I did make a tweet real quick that basically summed up my feelings on shipping in IZTDM. I think it's very suitable. There, I think that sums it up. I don't hate on people who ship. I just don't do it, and I think it creeps me out. So I just don't comment whenever I see it. I just avoid commenting. But there's my thing. I kind of do it. If I'm going to make fun of shipping, which I frequently do, I do it on a whole basis. I don't point things out. I just do generally speaking, So it's not that bad. How big will the soundtrack be? As big as it needs to be. There's no way of calculating that right now at this stage in production. Why do you think Zim calls humans worms when they look nothing like one? Because he's neurotic. And also because he has a superiority complex, and worms are so far beneath Zim. Humans are so far beneath. They're like worms. I don't think the rumors about the IZ movie are true. I don't think there's much basis to them. I have heard things that made me think maybe they're not rumors, but by and large, I currently think they're just rumors. Yeah, so that's it. That's kind of what I'm going for. I don't think that it will happen. Nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea, shipping. Throw it in there. That's kind of it. Okay, well, if anyone doesn't have last questions, I'm going to allow everyone one more question if they want, just so we can put a definitive wrap on this. Earlier, I asked people to post questions if they felt like. Now I'm putting a definitive wrap on it. I don't need to show my email. That would be weird. Okay. I don't think ships fit. I agree. When is the next big thing in advertising? See, here's the thing. We don't really have things to show for it. So far, my advertising is stuff like this, like live streaming, fun things, fan art, vlogs. That's generally my advertising for right now. Zim, I think, has an inferiority complex. Maybe. He seems to be. He's very egotistical and self-centered, and that fits right in. So I'm no I'm no doctor, so I wouldn't know. But maybe he does. My favorite canceled episode, hands down, is The Trial. Bye, Amber. My favorite is The Trial. It stands out to me as being awesome, and it is the biggest influence. After IZTDM, I have a few projects of my own I want to do. Mostly, they're movies. But I think they'll be really cool. And a book I plan on writing. Different in tone. The movies are horror movies, and the book is sort of an adventure book. I'm not going to go into it, though. Top secret. But that's my answer to that question. Spork and Miyuki are dead, so they will not be showing up. I don't have any ideas for a short film per se, but yeah. Oh, Amber, I thought you were saying bye to the chat, like saying, hello, goodbye, I'm leaving. And so that's why I said goodbye. Bye, yeah. If you were to give a reason besides allowing people to understand the show, why do you think the Urkins often speak English despite it being an Earth language? Besides that, I think either the Urkins have universal translators, or that's just the way Jonin, as creator of the universe, set it up, which is a boring answer, but that's all I got for that. When do I guess the movie will be done? 3 or 4 years. Unlucky. I really want to wrap this up as soon as possible. Even if I switch over to a better, more streamlined animation, I think it'll be like that. No! Heck no. No live action. No. That is not even a remote possibility. I'm thinking at this point it's going to be like an animatic that's been polished. Maybe, yeah, around 2019. That sounds reasonable. Maybe 2019, 2020. Almost 20 years after Zim was made. Good grief. Yeah, no live action, though. And basically, at this point, I really am going to push for an animatic that's been polished to the point of looking good. Yes, I think Urkins are the only creatures on Urk besides slave races. But I think they probably would have exterminated their wildlife long ago. Well, thank you, Fizzy Soda. I'm glad to know you'll be with me this whole time. Levy, I see what you're saying after the movie. No, because live action requires too much stuff that I'm unfamiliar with, like getting a crew together cast, providing environments, set pieces, all that. It's much more viable for me to do animation, either CGI or 2D or stop motion, whatever I can get my hands on. I probably won't be doing it myself. I'll probably hire a group to do it for me, since I could do that, since it would be my own ideas and stuff, and that wouldn't be a copyright problem. But yeah, animation is what I plan on doing afterwards. So yeah, actors and all that. I don't want to bother with hiring live action actors and run the risk of getting some bad takes and stuff. And it's a whole another ball game. And so what I'm used to is cartoon animation. If I wanted to do live action, I would outsource a director who works in that, and I would just do the script. And I would outsource someone who's a director who's experienced in that and have them direct it. And I would just write the script. That's how I would. That's the only way I could. Oh, I did. I'm sorry. Sorry for mispronouncing your name. Well, thank you, Michelle. Thank you. I'm glad that you would stick with me even that far. It's going to be a little bit of a rough road, but I think once I'm done with this short film that I'm working on with the voice of Tallest Red with Ezra, once I'm done with the short film, I will be churning out material for IZTDM at a high rate. Thank you. I'm glad it was good, Genio, and see you. I thank you for joining us. That was good. Tips to help get started with animation. I'm bad for this. Look up tutorials on YouTube for animation people. They have a lot of good stuff like Draw with Jazza. If you don't mind the occasional swear word, which, whatever, not a big deal for me. not a big deal for anyone else, I assume. But yeah, Draw with Jazz, an awesome channel for animation. Onion Skin is a good channel for animation. Look up stuff like that. Practice, do small things at first and kind of build off that. Yeah. Live action movies would be incredibly expensive, especially with CGI effects. Whereas if I did a full CGI movie, it could actually be cheaper. Like full CGI, like, I don't know, Shrek is an example. That would be cheaper than live action for me. Maybe not for a huge crew, but you got to look at it in perspective of certain situations. You know, like the situation I'm in, live action would be difficult. Wish I came in when it started. Happy I could see the stream. Yeah, thank you for joining. I'm sorry that you kind of came in at the tail end there, but I'm happy you joined too. Okay, it's Levi, isn't it? Levi Church. Is that the right way to pronounce your name? I'm thinking that is. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the right way to pronounce it, right? Okay, I think that wraps up the questions also for everyone. All right, cool. Well, guys, I'll wrap it up now, and I'll do it on an awesome. Let me see. What's a good image to end on? This. Oh, that's too close. Zoom out. Okay. No. Right. This is where we're ending on. Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming here and doing this. I will have future live streams, and basically in the immediate future for Invader Zim, or IZTDM, I mean, I will be doing live streams probably weekly, maybe monthly at first before I get the hang of it, and then do weekly. And then I intend to, and it's not going to be big. They're going to be like 30 minutes or something, very, very short. But that way I can keep you informed on a more active basis. I'm happy to live stream. You are very, very welcome, and I will do more. Yeah, I'll try to do it on weekends from now on. The only reason this one was today, because of course Invader Zim's anniversary. I had to. So yeah. Okay, guys. Well, this is Stanley Orr, stalling until he can get the controls pulled up for the live stream. Let me get that pulled up. I was going to sign off on a dramatic note, but that's not happening. You're welcome, everyone. You're welcome. You're welcome. Good. Glad Amber. Thank you. Zim is standing on a, let me answer that real quick. Zim is standing on a little voodoo doll of Dib. You can see it has button for eyes, and like it has an Irken flag stabbed into it. It's like made out of a potato sack. That is what Zim is standing on. Happy you guys had fun. I love doing the behind the scenes stuff and all that jazz. I really had fun with that. So yeah. Okay, now I'll officially do this and not mess it up. So thank you guys for watching. I am super happy to have done this, and I'm very much looking forward to doing more live streams in the future, even if they're just small. And so I will talk to you guys later. And that's it. I'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.